GitGud production, or this Elo Hell production of GitGud. If I could say good, that would help, right? I'm Labosco. Alongside me is Belly as we are getting ready for our first matchup of the day in the rookie division. It is Chaos versus Belladonna. Also, a very special happy Valentine's Day to you watching here. We're glad that you're spending some time on this day with us, and hopefully we can give you a nice Valentine's of some good Overwatch. So, Belly, glad to have you here. It should be a good first matchup that we have.
Glad to be here. Absolutely, it should be a wonderful first matchup in the intermediate division. So it's gonna be a nice one to start it out with. I'm sorry, it's the rookie division. I'm on the wrong screens. I'm paying attention. This is fine. Here we are. We have indeed in the rookie division Team Chaos and Team Belladonna, as Labosco has just mentioned. Yeah, I'm seeing some fun information for at the very least Team Belladonna, where I'm seeing Diva, Ryan, which we're probably gonna see most of. But I'm seeing Ash, Genji, Zarya, Junkrat. So with this new meta that we've got going on, and I say meta kind of lightly, because there is some very important picks that we've got at the moment, but DPS and the main support have kind of been more loose and free to kind of change a lot around. And for me personally, Labosco, that's made it very fun to watch Overwatch again.
It really has been a lot of fun. And to start off this new Get Good season, we should have some fun things that we get to see these teams play because when you talk the about improving, right? Like it's all about getting better. So you don't necessarily always are playing meta picks. Sometimes it's more about comfort than it is a pick that is important to the meta. But if a comfort pick is meta, well, then that's just great for certain teams, like you said, for Belladonna specifically. Now, for the other side in Chaos, they didn't put what it is that they are the most played heroes for their team. We just know their roles. So we know, well, some of their roles at least. We know that Deep Voice and TARDIS are more than likely going to be the two DPS that we see today. We know that they really like the control map of Busan. We don't have quite as much about them. The one thing I want to point out, though, too, you were talking about Belladonna. This is also a team that all girls, which is, I think, a really cool thing to see, too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like anyone can play games. Doesn't matter where you're from, what gender, what sexual preference, whatever. We play games, we have fun, we shoot each other in the face with a rocket propelled hammer, whatever. We just have fun. We play this game together, and it's cool to see that this is also a thing. So this is definitely a thing to mention here. Yeah, first map always Control, King of the Hill. Bit of a warm up, usually for all of the teams involved, and yeah, most of the maps that we've got Ilios, we've got Bazan, we've got Oasis. Generally, also a nice spread of different types of maps where you can see all kinds of fun things.
Well, we're entering into Busan for our first map, so let's talk Busan. Going to see here on, of course, this is maybe my favorite control map now that it's in the pool of play.
Besides my favorite control map, personally, I'm a Lijiang fan. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
But
right there with it too. I
definitely can agree. And now Busan going into the open sanctuary map where you can be able to see a lot of crossfire possibly happening. The Mei less strong here, still viable on the control point where you got nice little chokeholds with the pillars around the nice huge drum that you've got there. The buildings to the side also perfectly aligned for that Mei wall off, which is just still such a strong pick. Now having on a map like this, obviously, until we actually go into the fight, we don't really know what the teams are gonna pick, but I am actually excited because I see on the side of Belladonna a bit of a dive composition, which honestly, I'm hoping they're going to stick with.
Yeah, we'll see if that's what they do. Sanctuary is always kind of a fun map. There's a lot of different possibilities, and we're having a clashing of styles here for sure. We have some meta picks. We've got the Reinhardt, we have the Reaper, but this Junkrat and Ash with the dive tanks is super interesting thing to look at here for Belladonna.
It's very interesting. It's also like synergistically not the most optimal, but that very much does not mean that it's not possible to run. So it should be a fun one to see nonetheless.
Well, Belladonna, they're taking this rotation around that right side of the map, trying to now just get their spam out on, and then diving in with Nikki Nico. She goes down. They're down one, but they even it up. Deep Voice is down two. They do lose, though. They get the take of the point first for Belladonna, though. Ooh, a nice dynamite coming through, getting onto a bunch of the different heroes of Chaos. Still in control is Belladonna, but they are looking like they're probably going to lose this. Losing out on their Lucio. They don't have the control of the point as the tank's on the other side, but as I say that, Wally dies to the martyrdom. So this is still working out for Belladonna as they build up to 20.
Very much working out, as swap has also come in from Nick Nico to go to the Reinhardt as opposed to the Winston. So an interesting swap up, difficult to really pull it off at the moment.
And not going to work forever, though. The respawners are still coming back in. Miko will go down, but TARDIS is just doing work on this Reaper, already almost to ults. But on the other side, they've got some ults too. 40% build up for Belladonna in their first fight.
A lot of build up, especially like a Tire and the Bob. This Tire can be so devastating coming into this next fight. The only thing to really protect from it is those Zarya bubbles, but you can only protect 2 people. However, a lot of these players have got a lot of abilities to deny any value. If you can get a lot of that out, your Tire is going to get a whole opening for the next team fight.
Well, they're going to initiate with the Bob in first and try to follow it up. TARDIS trying to get away from the Bob. Itzy Boy goes down, so they don't have the sound barrier available anymore for Chaos. Belladonna looking really good at the start of this point. E-Boy Crusher crushing on this Ashe. Already up to 25%. They just used Bob, she did.
It is very nice to get that build up as soon as you get Bob and that extra player on the field. A nice distraction as well to get some extra damage done. They've also invested the Nano. The only thing they really have going for them at the moment is still the Tire. While on the other side, we've got nearly 5 ultimates ready. They've got everything in the bank to really open up this next fight, to really go for whatever they really, whatever they want. And I would probably predict some kind of grab Death Blossom combo.
Well, Werther's is going in, maybe looking for that opportunity to grab. Has to be careful that it doesn't get eaten by the D.Va. It's the one thing to be careful about for Chaos. Looking for that opportunity. Shatter going to get blocked nicely by Nick Nico. And now the grab coming in afterwards. Immortality Field keeping them alive for a second, but the Death Blossom combined with that Coalescence, too much from Chaos, as that fight was a bit of chaos, and they start to build up past 40%.
Yeah, as you mentioned, chaotic. That is the key word here. 4 ultimates used to win that fight. They're only now getting to the 50%, but the Belladonna team are already at 81%. Still have that Tire ready, though, so probably time to start pushing that in. But they've got very good control of their ultimate economy, and coming up to a lot of stuff, they essentially only need the one good fight win, and that's their map to take.
Exactly, so we'll see what they decide to put down first. Sounds like Riptire is going to be what they use. Midi Midori, though, dies almost immediately. Soundberry used to get aggressive for Chaos as they push in towards Nick Nico. I keep wanting to say Nikki for some reason. I'm putting an extra I in there as Belladonna is forced back to their own spawn.
We also see a quick swap coming in from the Junkrat Midi Midori, going off to the Mei. A nice combo with the Reinhardt pick at the very least, getting the wall off of people from the enemy team, zoning them out, getting the singular pick or the double pick off, opening up the fight once again to get a lot of value.
But they've got to hurry and get on. The Bob they tried to throw on point. They're not going to be able to get there. Oh, no. The Bob got stopped short, and Bob was their hope to get onto the point. E-Boy Crusher couldn't get it there, so it's going to go to Chaos for a 1-0 lead on Busan.
It is a bit painful. It's very unfortunate, but a very close map nonetheless. Some good fights from both teams. I like the swaps we're seeing coming in. Like, you had the initial fight, you had the Winston dive attempt, you go into the fight, you essentially get picked off immediately because versus Ryan Zarya, it is really difficult to get the value off, especially if that Reaper is there as well to complete the death ball. So seeing that initial immediate switch, very much a fan of. The other side just ever so slightly victorious over what this total fight is. And now we're seeing more of the same as what we ended on for last fight, so it could go still either way.
We have a difference in off tanks right now. We have Zarya on one side for Chaos. For Belladonna, they're going with that Diva. Tardis will get Nico down, but going down as well is Wallimix. So they're pretty even there, but down goes E-Boy Crusher. Their team moving, though, towards the point. So with her down, they do lose out on a bit of damage. They've lost on the utility from the Diva, too, as Destiny will end up having to try and get that mech back, but control at this point so far in favor of Chaos, but they lose Tardis, who got a little bit too aggressive. So Belladonna, an opportunity coming back in here as they go ahead and use that nano boost onto the Reinhardt. Nico, who does manage to get one down with Destiny, who's able to get back in the mech. So there's still a chance here for Belladonna to win this fight. Sound barrier to ensure that they stay alive through the damage coming out. Itsy Boy goes down. Coalescence not doing enough. And now control the point, swings back over to Belladonna.
A fairly big fight, and now finally the control point starts ticking up for Belladonna. And in this whole fight, they've already invested a fair few things to really get the fight rolling, while Chaos have been a bit more reserved with what ultimates they use. Knowing that it's early in the fight, knowing it's early in the map, you can save up a bit of those ultimates, a bit of that progression to really take a proper fight, group up, and use those combos, and really get a nice fight win to get proper control of the point back.
Destiny just got back into mech, but Destiny is very close to that self-destruct. E-Boy Crusher going down to Deep Voice's Deadeye Chaos in a pretty good position here, but the Blizzard on the point, getting it back for Belladonna, getting a little bit closer. They ate Werther's grab, too. They throw the nano boost in again. Miko is building those so fast. She gets them, it seems like, every single fight.
Is letting that Reinhardt go nice and aggressive, going in right in the front line, it's going to give you so much of value. And an important thing to note is you've got Destiny also eating fire strikes from WallEMC, so that is going to take a lot of that ultimate charge away from your Reinhardt to get that next shatter off, while on the other side you've got Nico, who can just do that for free and just get all of that free value. It is free real estate that we are coming up to that Death Blossom together with a Sound Bear to really deny a lot of value from the Bob and the Diva Bob. So it's gonna be still a bit of a battle for Chaos to win.
Without a doubt. They do have it up, though, now that Death Blossom. Have to see if Destiny's going to have enough of that defense matrix to eat enough of it, letting it kind of tick up here. But now you've got the Bob out on the point to charge in. Wallyman goes down. And now you have that Death Blossom in. It gets E-Boy Crusher, but only one. And now the Earth Shatter coming out, knocks down everybody for Nico. And the overtime meter coming through for Belladonna. Chaos using the Zarya to try and get on the point, but it's not going to be enough. As this will go to Belladonna. They win this fight and now tie things up on Busan 1-1.
I'm loving this control from Belladonna. They're really doing a good job at this point, controlling which ultimates they're using when, being aware the enemy Reaper has got that Death Blossom, we have to watch out for it. Okay, we throw in Bob, we've got a distraction, we get an initial pick, you already have that pick now, especially seeing as it's the Reinhardt, now you know as Nico, I can shatter for free. Whoever I want. If you then get the Reaper from Tardis frozen up by Midori, it's such a good play. As we now see a few more swaps coming in. On the side of Belladonna, I'm seeing at the moment a fairly meta actually coming in. While on the other side, we're still going for the Zarya. This time opting for the Ashe as well, getting some snipes in. Not the easiest to pull off on a mecha base, but definitely possible, and the Dynamite is still very powerful ability to use.
Very underrated ability Dynamite is too. The Maywall going up here does block off part of the team. Zarya does get frozen up on Chaos, but able to get out, so Werther's still in a good spot. Midori, though, right in the front, ice walling players off again, and they're going to take Tardis down. Good combination by this team in Belladonna as they continue their way forward. The point does open, but the fight still rages on.
You can tell that the communication is really there, that they managed to find those singular picks off and really focus in on them. It's very well played from Belladonna.
A nice Maywall to get the Zarya down. It was pretty high charge, too. So now, this point well in control by Belladonna. Deep Voice on the high ground. He tries to get away. Ooh, nice shot as he's getting out, though. So there might be a re-engage chance if they hurry up and get back together for Chaos.
There is an opening right now for Chaos to move in, and it looks like they really want to do that, having that Coalescence as well in the back pocket. The one thing they do have to watch out for is that Shatter!
And there it hits, like you said, not able to get it through, but the Coalescence getting out one, but they don't have enough follow-up damage on top of that Coalescence. The Nano Boost is too much. Belladonna well in control of this point and now building up past 25%.
Nico reading Wally MC so perfectly, knowing that they want to go aggressive, knowing that they're trying to just push in, and using that opportunity to just shatter the whole team and get another fight win. With 36% on the board, they're already looking pretty positive, but there's a few coming in, like that Graviton and like the shatter from Wally MC. It's gonna make this next fight a bit more difficult for Belladonna.
And Nico, she's now almost to another shatter thanks to that Nano Boost. So you've got that right back in. That's not something you're going to be able to track even if you're at the highest levels. Death Blossom coming in. It's a double kill for E-Boy Crusher. She crushes a third as well afterwards. And it's well in control for Belladonna.
One unfortunate thing as well is that Deep Voice's Bob has run off the map, and now with a very controlled one ultimate use, you get another fight and are already up to 70%. You've got basically all of the shiny buttons ready to go and a nice positioning to use them in.
A bunch of players do get through the wall, but they're still split off from their supports, managing to stay alive at the moment. But Wally getting caught in the corner goes down to E-Boy Crusher. Now just continuing on to whatever target they find next. But Tarkus with the quad kill on the Death Blossom's gonna get this back for Chaos.
A beautiful Death Blossom from Tartus going straight up in the backline, having just all of the space in the world to just press Q, get all of the kills, finish up this fight. Now, they do have a fair few things that they can still hold the choke with. You've got the Shadow, you've got the Grav that you can really use very well, especially versus D.Va, using the Grav against the wall to just hook them against the wall and deny that defense game.
Can't stop that Graviton Surge with the D.Va. Unfortunately there for Belladonna as they all get caught on, but Nico is still able to get Tartus out of the fight. Wally's still swinging his way through, but he goes down, and now the Death Blossom in by E-Boy Crusher, and this will go right back over to Belladonna. They use their ults expertly to get this back.
Use it very well. Once again, so extremely efficient, over 97% on the board. Will anyone even make it to point? Yes, it's gonna be Tartus.
Only one who gets there, but the rest of the team coming back in. Chaos getting back onto the point. Earth Shattered though, and the self-destruct gets the kill and an extra one thanks to Nico. And Deep Voice on the Tracer just trying to stall desperately for as long as possible. But this doesn't matter at this point. Well in control of the team in red in Belladonna. Mecha Base going over to the team in red as they will now have a 1-0 lead. So good job by Belladonna to lose the first map and then win the next two.
They did a very good job pulling it back. That first map, it seemed to have not really found their footing yet. The picks weren't really there. It was a bit more messy, but as soon as we got into that second map, you could tell that they really went for it, that they really went forward with their communication, with their team play, with their communication, and they pushed it on through. As my cat is attacking my sleeve.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Got to attack. You know, if you're not
Exactly.
attacking, what are you doing, right?
Exactly.
So, but back to Belladonna, a very good first map for them. But Chaos, there was some very good things we saw from their side too. So looking at Chaos, what needs to change here going into the next map? And of course, it's their map pick too.
Well, you have to go in basically as a team. What I saw a lot of the times, you had this discrepancy where, take for example one of those last fights where the Grav came in, the Graviton against the wall. You have everyone in the Grav, and not everyone of the team is there to use that value to get in there and get all of that damage done. Because even with that Sand Barrier up, you can really do a lot of damage. Followed up perhaps with a Shatter with a nice positioning on it, and you can really get a lot done. One thing to be said though, you are playing versus a Reaper, and you don't really have that much to deal with it. The enemy team had Desney, so Belladonna had Desney on the D.Va to be able to eat a lot of damage away with the defense metrics.
Too.
Exactly. And with the Zarya, yes, you take a bit of the damage away and revert it into damage. But if you're dead, the damage is not going to do much.
Awesome. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Zarya, if you get the value out of it, can be great though, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's not the worst pick in the world, but it's just the diva,
Mhm.
especially with the boosters now. What do you think of that change to the boosters while we're talking about diva?
It is very powerful. It is something that I think
Right?
was also needed for Diva. But at the moment, whether it's actually 3 seconds was needed, not sure. But
Right.
the buff was definitely needed. The booster buff, especially, is a thing that I would agree on. Right now, she is what is being mentioned by a lot of people in the community, the chunky tracer. She's everywhere and nowhere, and it's a bit of a pain to deal with. And the most important thing versus a Zarya, because usually Zarya versus Diva would go in the favor of Zarya, being able to
Mhm.
just beam down through your defense matrix. But if you can just keep flying back to the middle of your team behind that Rhine shield, who are you gonna beam? You're gonna stay alive. You're gonna be able to defense matrix your Reinhardt as well, keep them alive, and get so much more value for any type of projectile or bullet damage coming in, and still not be that much in danger of the enemy Zarya. So Diva at the moment very much in favor over the Zarya.
Right. If you're gonna collapse on the diva when she uses her boosters to come in, you either gotta take her out when she does that, or she's gone.
Yeah,
Because 3 seconds, 3 seconds, and you can
that is
be
your window.
out.
That is your
Exactly.
window. That is everything. And if you don't do enough, as you're mentioning, then yeah, she's gonna get out and gonna get more value, and you can't have that happen.
And the map we're going to next, like, it doesn't change a lot as far as the tanks, I don't really see, just
No.
because it's Rialto, right? So
Hmm.
so you don't really have to change anything if you're Belladonna, but the DPS that you can play here does change quite a bit. But we saw the Megan actually was a very strong pick for them on mecha base for Belladonna. That's something that you can still play with the narrow corridors that sort of form with how the map geometry works. You do have some more high ground to work with, though, is one of the things.
That is one of the things where the Maywall can also still help to get you to the high ground.
Exactly.
But
True.
one important thing is after the first corner on Rialto here, point 8, you get this whole wide open space. That is where May is not going to be that strong. So I would actually, at this point, suggest. I do apologize. A lot of water. To grab a
We're
Fire
at
Mercy.
Rialto, of course, right.
Yeah, a lot of water in Rialto. But a Fire Mercy, for example, with either some long range or a hit scan like Kree, to get a nice crossfire in for that first point, maybe transition into a May for the second point, and especially for last point, you're gonna want a May. But that first point, yes, it is possible, and it is very useful, especially on defense at the first corner. But after that, it starts losing its traction ever so slightly in the open space of point A. Though because that is not that big of a space, you can decide whether you want to risk that and try to get as much time out of the first corner as you want, as you can, sorry, and then maybe give up point A with as little time bank and then try to hold point B, or you can try for something just a bit different and try to just hold point A at basically any point of it, but maybe with a bit smaller margin of success.
Right. So we're going to see here defensively first from Belladonna. They're going with the composition we've seen them do, although the tanks, this is actually very meta tank composition too. The Arisa and the Reinhardt is something that you do see on certain maps like this.
You do see it, and it is a very nice combination to get that Halt Fire Strike in and get a lot of value for it. And this time on the other side, we're also still not seeing that Diva, so that Fire Strike will not be eaten.
Deep Voice took out the trap, but the mine was still there and took a lot of damage. And Midi Midori gets Itsy Boy down, so that Lucio speed gone. You do have Deep Voice on a flank, though, trying to make a difference here. Evoy Crusher, though, won't allow that flank to come through. The May wall coming up from TARDIS doesn't even matter. Too many players down, and they got to go back to the drawing board for gas. By the way, if you weren't sure, teams have switched sides. Team in blue now is Belladonna.
That is very much the case. One thing like to keep in mind at that point, like you've just lost your Lucio, you're gonna Maywall and you want to push in on whoever's walled off. but you don't have Relucio, so how are you gonna speed in and speed out to keep everyone safe and do a lot of damage on? You're not, so yes, you're gonna get punished for it. That is exactly what happened. Now going into the next fight, we do have the Shatter coming up. So there's one thing to watch out for to maybe see a sneaky Shatter, but there's 2 shields to fight around.
See how well they've been able to track it. The first thing coming out is the Riptire, though, looking for a target. It's found a Zarya, but it only gets Deep Voice. I think that the Midi Medora, she was trying to get both. She only got one, but getting one is still enough, especially because the front line still did the other work that was needed, and they forced Chaos back.
One pick can be huge already in a coordinated team fight. If you get the one pick, you're in the advantage. The enemy team is going to have to invest a lot of things to really get the fight win from that. So either you're going to get a lot of resources out, that's also painful, or you're going to win the fight. That is basically the 2 options, and either is essentially just a win-win.
This is a win-win too, because Deep Voice getting staggered there means you've got to wait a little bit longer for that Widowmaker to get back in. Close to a lot of ults though for Chaos, so there is still a window here of opportunity, but they've got to be careful as that it was a huge anti that came out from Nico. Nico, she's been awesome. Now throws on the Nano Boost onto the Reinhardt, has to be careful not getting frozen up, and now throws out a huge Fire Strike that gets a bunch. Already has that Earth Shatter ready though for this next fight.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm impressed by the restraint of Nico to see all of those tasty targets there without a bubble and not shattering. I'm very impressed with that. Still having that shatter ready though, so it's gonna be something to come in, especially also with that bongo, the superchargers. It's gonna be powerful.
They are stuck in a blizzard though. Bob will get frozen, so that's something that helps out. It also gets out the superchargers, so there's an opportunity here, but Nico and E-Boy Crusher combining for 2 eliminations keep them in front for Belladonna.
You had Nico going off to the side just outside of blizzard range, and as everyone is moving in to try and get the kills, Shadow comes on through and they still manage to get the fight win. Now you don't have that much in the bank anymore, but we've seen already that Tyre only needs to get 1 kill, and if you get that 1 kill, you already have the opening. The only thing that they're gonna have to watch out for is the graph coming in from Werther's. That is gonna be possibly a big thing coming on through for the next fight, but there's not a lot that they can follow it up with. That is where the pain can come in.
Oh, E-Boy Crusher going down. The Deep Voice who finds the head. Midi Midori, we'll see when she decides to use the Riptire. Going onto the high ground, hiding here, looking for that chance. Letting that cart come a little bit forward as their team is down too. Now the tire coming out. Finds nothing though. Good time sound barrier keeps everybody alive as they will hit overtime, but the Earth Shatter coming through and the charge in by Wally takes one down, loses his life, but the cart looks like it will get to that point. Trying to get in there was E-Boy Crusher. The grab, that's an unnecessary grab, but they got it though. That's all that matters.
Yeah, you got the grab back, so and you got the point grabbed, so it's some value for a grab. As Belladonna are pulling back, trying to get a bit of a better positioning. Gonna lose one friend, but you can now come in with a nice positioning around this corner. One thing you have to do, keep in mind, there is this high ground that we already see Deep Voice going for. You don't really have that much to contest high ground with, apart from the Junkrat, which is not really in a favorable position versus a Widow.
Definitely is a Deep Voice on that high ground, does have the infrared sight up, knows that the Junkrat is there, so knows that he can't take that fight on a position like that where the Junkrat can just spam into you. Gets one shot onto the Ana, looking for an open target, but the defense is holding strong for Belladonna here on this corner with the help of Bob.
You've got Deep Voice way in the backline, and you can get a lot of value from that Widow in the backline, but there's not that many sightlines here on that point going to that particular spot where they were. And if you don't get that value, the enemy team can basically push in on a 6v5 fight, and now with another late pick, Chaos is still going to be on the back foot once again.
Ultimate-wise, they're on the back foot too. Belladonna with so many ultimates up here too, Belly.
They are very much up on ultimates, and that supercharger, even if you would combine it with the amplification matrix, you're gonna melt your Reinhardt in approximately 0.5 seconds.
My goodness. Well, TARDIS has an ultimate here that could be the great equalizer for Chaos. Chaos now We'll have that come out from Tardis, goes through, but it doesn't get off. Nick Nico hit it with the Fire Strike. Werther's, though, uses the Immortality Field, gets that down. Players down on either side. No value from either Riptire, but the defense still keeping this cart from moving.
I do like the swap from Deep Voice off of the Widow onto the Hanzo, getting that nice spam damage, that burst damage in. And even with the nerf of 60 damage per Storm Arrow, you're still gonna be able to get those headshots, get nice nice big chunks of burst damage down. Especially now with that Zarya, if you manage to get those ultimates up, that's still a very huge combo. But you're gonna have to fight for a Supercharger.
Supercharger down, like you said, does take Wally pretty close to half health, but the Coalescence will make sure Wally stays alive. Destiny will get the nano boost. Bob is out on the cart once again. How to target up into the air, couldn't finish him off though. And now the Sound Barrier keeping everybody alive for Chaos. Still a chance for them to win this fight. Amplification Matrix coming down next. Nice shot from E-Boy Crusher with the help of the Dynamite to get Itsy Boy down, and Mini Midori with 2 through there as well. And now you have that Dynamite ticking down on a few players. The Zarya will use the bubble but can't stay alive. And middle of that second part of the map is all Belladonna needs to win this one against Chaos.
It is half a Rialto map, and the most notorious difficult part of Rialto is getting the full push. That last little choke is usually one of the more difficult ones. And getting the payload to hold here is something that Belladonna is going to be very happy about. Now, we also had Deep Voice trying to put the dragon in. They could have won with that. Unfortunately, Mini Midori gets the kill just in time. Now, Belladonna have got very nice way paved for them, and they can keep going the way that they have been and get a lot of value. Chaos, however, they're gonna have to get some better combos in, I would primarily say. They've got some very good team play, positioning, they've got a pretty okay ult economy, but getting the right combos in at the right time, that is where Chaos can get a lot more value from for the next fight. And it's interesting to see that they're opting to go for a Mercy Batiste combo. Ooh. Though that being said, Mercy with either Junkrat or especially Ashe is essentially a faster shooting Widowmaker.
Exactly. Especially now with their change.
Mm-hmm. It is a force to be reckoned with, honestly. But that being said, Belladonna, if they opt to keep this diva in the fight, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. Being able to deny those dynamites, being able to deny the Junkrat spam, being able to deny all that damage coming in, could make or break the whole ult economy for Chaos here.
They only have to get halfway through the map pretty much, too. A little bit more than halfway. Halfway on the second point, I should say. Or 3/4. Whatever you want to call it. Either way, starting off pretty good. Putting pressure on that shield is E-Boy Crusher. She's getting as much damage in as she can. Now getting herself onto the high ground, throwing that Dynamite over. Misses the shot because the shield is in the way. But that's all right. The Dynamite will force players to have to back up. Ooh, Wally is extremely close. Clouded Sky will get the help to get the kill down. Mini Midoriya, though, down as well. Nice Dynamite from above from E-Boy Crusher. Has to back away, though, as the res does come through onto Wally. So the Reinhardt's back in, and the defense holding strong here for Chaos.
Deep Voice with some good early picks is going to really put a stopper to your pushing power for the oncoming fight. And the fact that Belladonna tried to still push in it was very impressive. They did get a pick off, but you're already on the back foot, and Chaos did use that opportunity. Now, Chaos are coming up to that Riptire. They're going to come up to it pretty quickly, so if they cannot get Tardis out of the fight or be able to get a nice fire strike from Nico, it's going to be painful.
Well, there was a nice fire strike, but it's too late. E-Boy Crusher was already down. So now they're in this spot for Belladonna where they kind of have to wait. And now you can try and flank if you're Tardis, but right there was a Junkrat waiting for you, and Mini Bandora, who's getting close to a Riptire of her own.
Tara coming in, does find Nico, and that is a huge pick to start the fight with.
Has a really good start here. The defense, they're not necessarily winning the fight, but they're not losing it either. So the card is not moving is the one thing, Belly, and now Belladonna has to regroup.
they do have to regroup, and they have to regroup fast. It's now 2 minutes on the clock, so you don't have that many fights, and that control and that group play that they had before seems to be wavering a bit, unfortunately, as the defense have got so many tools to still hold on to this, coming up to that grab as well, together with the Bob, the Shatter. Like, there's so much that you can do. It's gonna be the Amplification Matrix first.
Yeah, Amp Matrix out, and a response will be the Bob. He goes through he goes through the corridor to the other side, and Bob just is not doing something. He's doing nothing.
It's really not doing that much. Stardust has already picked up 2 kills, so Chaos once again holding on very well. And still with so many opportunities, you've only used Amplification Matrix, you still have the Bob, you still have the Grab, you still have the Shatter. Grav with TARDIS in there to just do so much burst damage with the mines, which is also AoE damage, is going to be very difficult to deal with. But you've got the Sound Barrier coming up, and if you can get that Shatter, maybe you can get an old school Shatter Bomb combo off. That could be a very good fight win for Belladonna.
See how that Bob's going to go this time for as well. Chaos will throw their Bob out, make sure that they're keeping up their Bob there, at least for the moment, before he gets charged away. Mini Midori and E-Boy Crusher combining for 2 for Belladonna, finding another one with the Dynamite onto TARDIS, and now just have to get, oh, nice shot onto Deep Voice. It's just tanks that are left, and they're going to try and push onto them as quick as possible.
And that is exactly what they do. They do invest a Nano, however. And it's one that you're not really gonna get back, but you have confirmed for yourself this point, and now it is up to Chaos to get their good positioning in. They still have ult economy in their favor, but Belladonna is not that far behind. They are catching up on the ult economy, they are catching up on their opportunities to really push in on this next fight, and once again, you have this Bomb Shatter combo coming in that can be devastating if you cannot really get the right angles in.
Well, Mini Midori going down here pretty early on should cause for the retreat maybe to happen for Belladonna. They still have their Reinhardt, though, and their Diva towards the cart. And now you have another Dynamite getting thrown out here, I think, by Deep Voice. Either way, they've been waiting here, at least for the moment, for everybody to get back. And now the Bob is into the back line. They did lose Cloudy on the other side, but E-Boy Crusher getting Werther's down, excuse me. And now the tire coming out, looking for a target, not going to get anything but the other tire. So this is a chance here for Belladonna. It also got itself an Immortality field, by the way.
There's a fair bit of value that you still get for the tire, but it's not enough. Chaos is still holding on to it. Once again, we're not really seeing many combos. They did throw the Bobbin to the back line, but that's usually not enough to really make a whole team turn around, so your Shatter doesn't get that much. Chaos, very controlled, still with a Shatter, still with a Grab, and the one thing that they only have to watch out for is Destiny eating the Grab.
They don't have to watch out for anything right now after you get Midi Midori down at the beginning. Her nickname is Midi Rat, I believe was what it was that I saw. Unfortunately, though, when you're walking across a bridge, it doesn't matter what your nickname is.
That really does.
Oh no, again!
You gotta get this Ashe off the high ground, otherwise you're really gonna keep running into the same issue. The payload is so close to where they want to get, but this Ashe is so devastating with that Mercy pocket together with her. As Belladonna is looking for any angle to really start doing much, and even Grind Shield is starting to break.
Grind Shield, I think, just broke. Now would be not a bad opportunity for the Bob to come out from Deep Voice, but going to hold on to it here for a little bit longer. They are giving up a little bit of space, as they will use their Valkyrie first. That's the first ultimate that's going to come through. Bob is going to get used in response, though. Not getting anything yet for E-Boy Crusher, who is in behind. Bob gets Werther's down. They will have to res that out, but Bob doing work on the other end. It's an even fight on either side. The Shatter, though, will help get this for Chaos, as they've got this back close. The Rip Tire coming out from TARDIS. It's not going to get any value, but they've won the fight.
I've won the fight, though. Belladonna
for the moment
coming through.
See if they can still do this. There's only 2 players left. They use the Sound Barrier. Players switching over to Speed characters to get back in. Speed Heroes in. You have a Wrecking Ball in. Graviton Surge not going to find much. E-Boy Crusher looking for another. Has already got Wally down. Gets a couple players close. Dynamite helping to get down another in Itzy. Boy, this fight can go either way at this moment. Players still making sure that they can keep themselves in this. Riptire coming out from Eddie Midori. It's not going to get any value though. Nick Nico goes down. The Reinhardt's still on the point for Chaos. E-Boy Crusher desperately trying to keep their team in this fight. Deep Voice though, and the rest of Chaos winning out. Only a few players left alive. Can they stay on this cart till others get back? A big anti-nade coming through, and Bob is able to get one, but they don't have enough players on the carts. And this will be a map win for Chaos as we tie up at 1-1.
Oh wow, we've got a series on our hands. That was a close one from either side. That was a hectic one. The hectic last fight. It was a very good stacker from Belladonna. Unfortunately, not enough. They couldn't confirm the kills fast enough to start cleaning it up, while they put in a very good effort. Chaos is the team that did manage to get their first point on the board. Like I said, with that, we've got a series on our hands with a 1-1 score for either.
It's a pretty wild way that that one goes, and we'll have to wait here a minute to see what we end up getting for our next map. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, we'll talk about whatever map we have next, and also talk about what each team needs to do to take advantage and get themselves a 2-1 lead. So don't go anywhere.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
back for this opening week of Get Good Season 4.5. It's Labasco here. Alongside of me is Belly, who, Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
everybody's really happy to see you here, apparently, Belly. So we've had a good match so far. Chaos and Belladonna. I was thinking of saying something else, but I wasn't going to go that far. But Chaos and Belladonna tied up at 1-1 right now. And it's been a very good matchup here in this, our rookie division to see these teams so far battling in a very tough matchup.
Yeah, very tough matchup. It's very equal, and that makes me happy. That makes me excited to really pinpoint like what is going on with these teams. What they're doing right, what are they doing wrong? Maybe it's like, is it the picks? Is it the team play? Is it the communication? And it's really fun to really dig into what is going on here. And I'm enjoying the fact that we're not really seeing the standard meta. The only thing that we're seeing at the moment that has been consistently considered meta is the Lucio and the Reinhardt.
Yeah.
We've not all
Diva
the
too, a
time
little
seen
bit, yeah.
Diva as well, but she's not really been picked every time. And the Reinhardt and Lucio have been, but that's it. Other than that, we've seen Junkrat, Ashe, Mei, Reaper, Widow, Orisa, Zarya. It's been all over the place, and I'm loving it.
I am not against seeing heroes like multiple times in a game that we don't normally get to see. Like Ashe, enjoy Ashe a lot. It's really cool to see the Ashe paired up with the Mercy that we're getting here. Both teams, I think, were doing it at one point. I know Chaos for sure was using the Mercy there. Let's talk Belladonna though, since they just lost the last map. What do they need to do to sort of jumpstart themselves back into this with us going to Volskaya Industries as the map choice here too?
Okay, what I would say is that a big um, apologies, a big part of their problem is deep voice. Just straight up deep voice. Deep voice has been in some very good positioning, also getting a good help from his team. To not disregard the rest of the team, absolutely not. But the team is allowing deep voice as well to really get a lot of value. But we saw, especially on that last point there, that you had deep voice on the high ground with the Mercy Pocket, being able to just chunk out damage in the backline, get a quick pick off, get the dynamite damage in, just get all that value from the Ashe essentially for free. You had the Diva trying to poke away at that, but there's only so much Diva can do before the rest of the team needs your help. And if you're not really got much else trying to deal with this Ashe, and it's only the Diva, be enough. So you're gonna have to figure out some way to figure out who at that point is the key component of the enemy team's composition and break that apart. If Deep Voice is the one carrying, make sure you can try to get a dive in. If you've got a Diva, maybe get another dive tank, a dive DPS to go with the Diva, get the kill on Deep Voice, open up the fight, continue on. But you'd have to be able to recognize where the issue lies and move in from that. So on Volskaya, they're gonna have to really figure out where are the people set up, who is going to be the win condition, and push in on that. I think that is where Belladonna can get the next value for them in.
They will be attacking here first, too, is one thing to point out. So they are now the team in red. And to kind of go to your point, you think about Rialto, you talked about setting up crossfires and just the use of the high ground. That's something, especially on first point Volskaya, you have a lot of that you can do, and Deep Voice is playing the Ashe again. So now let's take a look at Chaos here, Belly. What needs to happen for them to continue and now get themselves a lead after being down 1-1? What do they need to continue to do that they did in Rialto?
I mean, pocket Deep Voice. You've got this very,
Right.
it's very simple that I'm mentioning it, but you've got this very nice setup for the front line with TARDIS, WallyMC, and Werther's, with Itzy Boy just keeping everyone alive, then Deep Voice with the Mercy straight up in the backline being able to chunk down damage. You've got that pressure for the front line, it's difficult to deal with, and the backline with the Ashe, that gives you a lot of space to really do whatever you want, and this Advara is gonna have a hard time really getting any free space that she wants to.
Not getting too much damage on Midi Midori yet. Werther's, though, gets Nico down, so she's already out, and so is Destiny. They've got to back away. Both tanks out for Belladonna. It's back to the drawing board.
that is that power of the Mei walls, of getting these choke points very well in control. And you have to go through the choke. You've got a Reinhardt. The only way to get through it is to walk through it. And if you don't have a team with you or a diva that can properly protect you, which she can't versus a Reinhardt and a Zarya, you're gonna have a bad time.
Good wall by eBoy Crusher, though, to get them through. They do get Wally down at the beginning as well, but Nico goes down too, and then eBoy Crusher falls soon after. One shot is all Deep Voice needs. Oh, but Wally is going to get it with the fire strikes, but Belladonna, they had the first part of their plan working. They don't have a Lucio here either, I think is something to point out. No speed.
Absolutely, and at this point, I know you want to get that barrage in, but it's not going to get a lot of value. I would kind of opt for you to switch. Take the close range fight, go for the Reaper, get the Lucio speed boost, rush in through the choke, and get that next fight in. Because Deep Voice, once again, has this Bob ready to just put in the backline, put pressure on the Pharah, put pressure on the front line, who's then behind it. It's going to be very difficult to deal with.
And Nico is dead again. Deep Voice being the one to make that happen. The wall goes up, will allow for the res to come out, but Bob is going to be able to get through now that the wall is down. And now they have damage coming out from the front too. So you've got multiple sides where you have to worry about damage coming through. The shield goes down, wall goes up again, so they are able to survive through the Bob, and Itzy Boy is down. Midi Midori, now's your opportunity. You've gotten out the res.
Res is out for
The Blizzard comes out a little bit late for Chaos. It doesn't really make it that, but it does get two, so there's still a chance.
Still a chance, especially with the amplification matrix on the point. Gonna get a lot of value, but no Belladonna seems to finally have broken through this fight. It was a bit messy in the end, a nice shot to break it up, but Chaos was so close to pulling it back with, once again, very little to use. Now, going into the next fight, you've got the Diva Bomb for Belladonna and the Barrage, but the Barrage is notoriously difficult to pull off. It is essentially a death sentence. You put it in, you will usually die. The goal is to get as many people along with you as possible. You will have a res from a Clouded Sky, but nothing really that much to defend you apart from Defense Matrix. While on the other side, you have to worry still about the Bomb, and that grab is still a difficult one. But Deep Voice himself is the most difficult.
Yeah, there's only like one angle you can take really to on this map is the
I will not waste this opportunity.
Things have started to freeze up for me, and now Mini Midori just sort of waiting around on the left side.
Very much waiting around the left side and getting picked off as well. Rotation coming on through, but we've already got Belladonna on the back foot. You're fighting 5v6, you don't have a res. This is gonna be very painful.
Yeah, this is really tough. They do get everybody over there, though, is the one good thing. The wall didn't really split anybody off, is the only thing. So now players starting to get frozen up. Is TARDIS battling with eBoy Crusher. Nico away from that fight that's going on, though, takes two down. So maybe there's a chance here for Belladonna, but they've lost some players themselves.
They lost a fair few players, and to keep in mind for Sky, point B is defense favorite. If you don't get an equal pick or something like 2 picks for a fight, then you're going to be on the back foot as the attacking team.
So now you have the Dynamite coming out, stun onto Nico, and Wally trying to block that shatter, and he's able to do so. The defense looks to be holding strong for Chaos.
Still holding strong. You have to get the decisive team fight win, and you're trying to build up a few things. You've got a few win conditions. You've got the Blizzard in, you've got the Barrage that now gets cancelled out because the Junkrat swap came in. So Pharah is gone, so it also means that the Mercy is not going to be useful anymore, and it's going to be swapped off to the Batiste. I think that's good swaps, but you might still want to get that Lucian, get that frontal damage in, speed in through the choke, and deny a lot of value from Team Chaos with the walls. But still want to get that grab out of the fight, and Destiny is the one to have to do that.
So now you have players starting to come in. Bob is out on for the defense, just trying to hold this point for as long as possible. Minute 25 left for Belladonna on this attack.
nice bomb to open it up as the Evo Crusher gets another one. Looks like Belladonna is looking to close this off, but they're gonna have to get this Reinhardt off the point.
Yes, have to try here. The only problem is they've got to take down this this immortality field is the one thing. Nano Boost coming out as well. So player gets frozen up. The attacking team looking like there might be a chance for Belladonna.
Might be a chance, but you're gonna have to get the Mei, and that is what they get. So now the Nano Run can reign free. The charge, it's so big, and now with the grab, you're gonna be able to clean it up for Chaos.
So 40 seconds left to go for Belladonna to try and get this attack going.
And is Chaos still holding well, no tick given up. 30 seconds on the clock. We have the amplification matrix, which can be devastating with the fire strike from the Reinhardt of Nico. So if you can open it up with that, that can be a very big. Having a Tara as the backup and then shattering off of that could still win you the fight. Just make sure that you don't get shattered yourself.
Oh, well, you said don't get shattered yourself, and that's what's going to end up happening here. And now it's in overtime, though. You've got to try and take this if you're Belladonna.
Gonna try and take this while EMC still has his own shatter though. But no health left, so you're not going to be able to use it. The picks are gonna come through, but that is a nice wall to really provide a lot of value.
And it looks like the defense will be able to end up holding on to this, though. Not a chance to get back onto the point here, it looks like, for anyone from Belladonna. Chaos have set themselves a win condition.
That is a very much a win condition. A nice hold on point B from Chaos. Very controlled, very together, but
Switching sides.
it is a difficult point to capture. It is a extremely difficult point to attack on and to get your value out of. And as I said, because it's so defense favored on these maps, on these assault maps, you have to basically get, if you're gonna lose someone, you need to take 2 people with you. If you don't, then you're not gonna get the value that you want to get. Now, going into this next fight, Belladonna are gonna still have to deal with the individual picks. I want to see that Lucio come out earlier to be able to go aggressive, to be able to really push in on the front line of Chaos, breaking through the front line, getting to the back line, and getting your value from that. But it doesn't look like they're gonna try that still. Now with the Brigitte, interesting pick to say the least. Disney on the Zarya of their own, this time once again going off of the Diva. Not really feeling like it provided much value, it seems, or maybe a specific plan. You don't really have that much to combo with, apart from the nice Snow Globe combo, getting the Graph Blizzard in. Can be strong, but on the other side, you've got far more combos. You've got the Graph Dragon, you've got the Graph Blizzard, you've got the Graph Coalescence. It can be a very painful one for Belladonna to try and stay alive for, and you have no defensive ultimates to deal with any of them.
So now you've got to try pushing up here first with this, with Deep Voice going over to the Hanzo now. So a little bit harder with the change to the projectile here. Is going to use his Storm Arrows. Wally, though, going to start things off right for Chaos as they are on the point. Oh, E-Boy Crusher, though, getting 2 here. Werther's answering back.
It's a nice trades, but it looks like Chaos will be cleaning this up very quickly. You just don't have the sustain. You've got a Mercy and a Brigitte, and this is nerfed Brigitte. She doesn't do all that healing that she used to do. It is 55 healing per second now. The Overshield is only 50 down from 75. It is actually a fairly big hit that she's taken, so you're gonna need a bit more. And I'm not sure still about this Mercy pick. I would still like to see the Lucio to really let you speed in and speed out, and to get either in a good combat or out of danger. And it's not something that we're really seeing.
So Deep Voice going to do what he can here to get this fight started off right, getting close to his Dragon Strike. Earth Shatter, though, will knock some players down. Nico and Destiny combining for 2, but Deep Voice still in this fight. And now we kind of hit a little bit of a lull here as teams are just kind of regrouping.
You gotta respect characters like the Hanzo, especially if you've already seen how much value Deep Voice can get on this. On these sniper heroes, if you leave them alone, they can just quickly pick off the 3 people, 3 squishies, with a few good lined up headshots. Now, one thing to note is we're coming up to the Grav Dragon or even Grav Blizzard combo. That is going to be devastating for Belladonna. The only thing they have to deal with it is their Immortality Field. It only lasts for 5 seconds. It's got a 25-second cooldown. If you put it down too soon, it's basically teamfight loss.
Yeah, you do have the Valkyrie that can do some healing, but it's still usually not enough. Nico is down too. Grav thrown out in desperation. We'll see if they can get the res off. Soundbarrier keeping everybody alive. Immortality Field comes out. The Dragon Strike gets too many, though, as they will be able to take this point, and Chaos will have themselves a 2-1 lead as they finally capped there on this second point. They did it pretty quick.
They did it fairly quick, and that is those combos that you want that Belladonna didn't really have the composition set up for. I've talked about the Lucio that I want to see that, so I feel like that is a subject to put to the side to think about. You also have your comfort picks, but that is one to really think about. He is very meta. That being said, you need your combos. You need your game plan. What is your game plan going into it with an Ashe? Like, Ashe does a lot. And I'm not...
Right.
She can do a whole lot of damage, as we can see from the stats. 42% of the team's damage done by Deep Voice. So much damage that the Ashe can do. It's very much true. But then where is your win condition? It's only now in the May, you only have your one option. The Ashe is there to just provide extra damage, to provide the Bob to get some extra pushing power, but other than that, you're not really getting that much of a win condition, and you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Look at Chaos, they've got all the eggs. And presumably also multiple baskets. You got the Grav Dragon, you've got the Grav Blizzard, you've got the Coalescence that you can put onto that. There is so much that you can do then, and that you can combo to really get all of the value there. And if then one plan fails, you've got a backup and another backup. And for Belladonna, well, you've got a very good basic plan. If that fails, you're now down 2 minutes to try and build up for that plan again. And that doesn't really work. So I want to see Belladonna get some better plans. Chaos at the moment doing quite well for themselves.
Yes, they definitely do. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll see if Belladonna can get those plans together on our next map. So don't go anywhere.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
We welcome you back here. It's Chaos versus Belladonna. It's Labosco here. Alongside of me is Belly. Happy Valentine's Day once again. And so far, it's been a good Valentine's Day present here for us at Elo Hell. A really good game between Chaos and Belladonna, I would say we've been having, Belly.
Oh, absolutely. It's been some close ones. Volskaya a bit less, but that doesn't mean that we can't pull it back. You always have the teams that prefer different styles, and maybe control point type maps aren't really the style of Belladonna. Maybe they can put it back on a hybrid map like the lovely Eichenwald, which is the one that we're going to be seeing next. And we talked a bit before about how Belladonna should try. And I hope that they're going to do that on Eichenwald. Not gonna lie.
Definitely. Eichenwald is something where you think about Midi Midori, she favors Junkrat as one of her main picks. And Junkrat first point, very strong. And also the last point is also very strong for Junkrat too in certain spots. So as far as picking a map that maybe goes to your strengths a little bit more, maybe that's sort of the thought process here, why they go here compared to some of the other maps that we have in the pool. At least that's sort of the thought I have when I hear Eichenwald.
Absolutely. Junkrat can be very strong on first point, especially the last point is where he shines. However, the second point, that's a bit more, I would say, questionable. I would personally prefer to see the Pharah coming in. If you're going to go for that explosive damage, getting the Junkrat, yes, there's a lot that you can do with it, but especially on offense, getting that value, you're going to need to get the Junkrat into the fight. And if you can't get the Junkrat into the fight, that is going to make it really difficult for you to get all of the value for that Australian mine thrower. It is possible, don't get me wrong, but
Of course.
you get more value with a nice crossfire. And a crossfire, when you've got a linear choke, it can be achieved by verticality. So get a Pharah up on high, get the front line up on low, and suddenly it's going to already force the enemy team to pull back to a less favorable position, which opens up the fight entirely for you. So that is what I would want to see. But if you go for the Junkrat, take the sneaky side road and just pump in some damage from the backline. Though, from the attacker spawn, which we can never really fully, accept that what we see at the start is what they're gonna run. Though,
If they run this, I'm okay with it, though, Bill.
I agree. Don't get me wrong. I agree fully. If they decide to run this Reaper dive, I want to see that. I want to see how that pays off. I think that could be really fun. On the defending team, once again, fairly meta, though the Mercy in there for a res, a bit of extra healing. Once again, not really opting for the Lucio, but that doesn't mean that that is a lost cause. Immortality Field still a strong ability.
A lot of crowd control, too, for Chaos with what they're showing us, at least here at the moment. So they have things to deal with the dive that's going to come in. And, of course, we know that Reaper can blow up a Winston diving in. So a lot here that actually kind of goes against what Belladonna's running. They're kind of just poking and prodding at this point now. They haven't picked a target to dive onto just yet. We'll see when that happens. Use of the recall by E-Boy Crusher, making sure to just poke this damage in. Already halfway up. Oh, has to be careful. Deep Voice is getting close. Still hasn't used the flashbang. Doesn't need it. And E-Boy Crusher goes down.
And that is one of your major parts of the dive already gone. Tracer, a very big damage leader. And if you're just gonna take the fight with the McCree, you're dancing with the devil. So that is exactly how that fight pays off. And now Deep Voice already almost up to that high noon, which you can use both for damage or a reload. This time the flashbang not really hitting, but you're gonna have to watch out. As you said, all the CC is gonna make dive really difficult to pull off.
Knowing that that's out, though, that's one of those big CC things out, but out comes the Deadeye. A little bit surprised it didn't get pulled sooner. It doesn't end up getting anything, so no value out of that ultimate. Not a big deal, though. You don't expect that. Flashbang misses onto the Winston, and Miko with a nice anti-nade to get one, but the Blizzard out from TARDIS will get everybody else. Nothing that these players can do on the side of Belladonna.
Blizzard is such a fight-winning ultimate. It is so devastating, and the only thing that you've got for it to deal with it is the D.Va. And if she can't defense matrix it, you really need to get your ult tracking in order to take care of it. Having to deal now with the next fight going in for the Graph and the Shatter, getting the Graph to get everyone together. It's gonna be painful once again on the D.Va to try and eat that Graviton Surge, but once again the Amplification Matrix Fire Strike can just really clean this fight up.
Ooh, Deep Voice going down to the Pulse Bomb at the beginning. Leaves an opening for Belladonna. They also get Itzy Boy down too. Use of the Sound Barrier to try and keep everybody alive too for Belladonna. Make sure that they win this pretty cleanly. The res will get Itzy Boy back in. Earth Shatter coming out, and Wally gets killed while he's using a huge ultimate gone for the side of Chaos. This fight is being chaotic for them, as they're going to have to give up this point.
Very chaotic, but not chaotic enough. It's Belladonna picking up the lead now, and at this point you see where the dive can start shining. You've got all of this high ground to take all of the map control that you want. You've got the Tracer, the D.Va, the Winston, all three of them who can be all over you from any angle, apart from the Tracer who gets taken out by a headshot. So that is an unfortunate event there. But it is very much a favor of the high ground that you can get so much value off of. And with that bomb as well, though not disregarding the Death Blossom that we saw Midori going for this side route, possibly looking to go into the back line to get a lot of value for that Reaper ult.
Nico dropping down from above, still has the jump available. High Noon coming out, Deep Voice looking for the opportunity to use it, but the Death Blossom is huge with the Coalescence combined, and Belladonna is going to continue forward. Midori with that switch, it's helping out.
Like, that is the power of the Reaper. A nice emote to finish it off. Getting that sneak around, playing it like the Reaper is meant to be played sneaky from the back line, and suddenly, from nowhere, there's this ghostly figure killing all of your team. While that is going on though, you've got the Blizzard to really worry about. If that Blizzard gets off and finds more than 2 people of your team, you've got another fight loss in your hands.
Use of that ultimate, great from Nick. Nico juggled the Mercy and then gets it with the Tesla cannon kill. She does. So now you have no Mercy on that side, and the follow-up damage is there. And this is a very fast Streets phase that came through for the team of Belladonna.
Very fast, and that is the power of the dive. Now going into the last point, that power is going to diminish rapidly. Don't really have that much high ground. You've got these close corners, and the enemy team is running a Mei with a Runner. The only thing that they're missing is the illusion to speed boost onto the enemy team, which means that if the wall comes in, you've got this dive that can get out of the wall. But other than that, it is very much in favor of Chaos to hold this point.
They do have E-Boy Crusher, though, who is on the Ashe now, so a little bit of flanking that can come out from that Ashe. Nice dynamite. Hits onto a target as well. A lot of the DPS players extremely close to going down. Destiny eating a lot of what that healing that could have came through. The res is coming back in, though, to bring TARDIS back up. And now the Blizzard is coming out as a result. And Destiny had their back turned. But the sound barrier is going to keep them all up. Self-destruct will make sure that Destiny keeps the mech too. They can still win this fight.
They can absolutely still win this fight, and now coming up to a Bob and the primary rate as well gives us so much more pushing power to just disrupt the enemy team. It is the graph that they're gonna once again have to watch out for, especially coming with the high noon. It's gonna be very painful.
Well, you talked about that coming through the high noon. There was no shield available because of the primal rage, so this is a fight lost for the side of Belladonna after they had just won a nice fight there at the end. They do get a couple of picks before they all die, and it's actually a good thing here that Deep Voice missed those shots because Destiny didn't get mech back actually did get mech back, so it's actually unfortunate he misses those shots.
Well, I want to see Belladonna swap off the Winston. That is really gonna make this fight extremely difficult. Though you have Midori with the Death Blossom, we've seen how much value they can get from it. I would almost expect a teleport onto the chandelier to maybe come in from above, but you're gonna have to be very sneaky about it.
Well, they're still going in here anyways, even though they did lose E-Boy Crusher. And then there's the Shatter that comes through that hits a bunch, and this is just another fight win for Chaos.
That's very much another fight win. Belladonna, you're gonna have to change something up. We've got a minute and a half on the clock, and that is where we see it, Nico. Going for the Reinhardt now with the Mercy Mora combination. Once again, I would like to see the Lucio, but that is okay. This can still get a lot of value, get that res off, especially with the D.Va defense matrix to keep them alive. On the other side though, that amplification matrix with a fire strike can be really painful, but we've got TARDIS waiting around the corner to put in that blizzard without anyone expecting.
Well, here it comes. They're not able to do anything about it. Players getting caught in. And it looks like it's another team fight win for Chaos.
That is such an easy fight when you only have to put in the Blizzard. They do put in the Valkyrie, but that is not the biggest game-changing ultimate. It's not the biggest loss of that. And it is just an easy fight when no one spots out the Mei, and you can just put in the Blizzard and win the next fight. On the other hand, for Belladonna, we still have the Death Blossom available. It's 30 seconds. He's gonna have to come in. She's gonna have to come in clutch once more to really get the value. So it's gonna be waiting out where the Reaper goes.
Already gets one, and now they have another opportunity for more with the Coalescence following up. Deadeye, though, through the amplification matrix, gets Nico down. They've got to retreat, it looks like, for Belladonna. They're staying in, though. They use the res to get E-Boy Crusher back in the fight. 10 seconds left.
And Midori trying to just go straight on in with the Wraith form. It is always painful to see that happen. We only have a Bob in the backline, but E-Boy Crusher to the side.
There's still a chance here for Belladonna. E-Boy Crusher trying to be the hero. E-Boy Crusher, she gets another, and then finishes off the last player. Now they've got the cart coming around the final corner.
There is still a chance for Chaos to hold on to this, and they still have the Blizzard ready. Destiny, you have to be aware of this. This is the only chance that they've got is for Destiny to eat the Blizzard as a
Well, they never got there!
This.
They never got there! They didn't come out in time! They were trying to wait. They waited too long, Belly.
They did wait too long. That is very painful. You had a win condition, and unfortunately you missed it. But
Initiating match.
that just means that we're going to see more of this amazing Overwatch play that we've been seeing so far. So that is one thing. It's now up to Chaos to get that same full push. And Belladonna, who we've seen before being very eager to swap, was a bit later on the swap this time around. But eventually they got through to it, and hey, it got them the full push. They're going to have to defend now. I would expect, once again, the Junkrat to come in. Midori feeling very comfortable on that that burst damage pick, though I have to admit the Reaper has been working really well, and it seems like they're gonna be sticking with that. So I'm personally okay with this. It's proved very positive for them. However, for Chaos,
Attackers
we see the Fire Mercy already in the ready. In the attacker spawn, you have E-Boy Crusher who has to deal with it. E-Boy Crusher being able to hit the shots, as we've seen. Miko and Clouded Sky being able to also put in a bit of pressure. It's gonna make it a bit more difficult, but still you get that crossfire that's going to usually push you in a less favorable position. and usually make you go further back to the point. So the Pharah want to look out for, especially as we've seen Deepvoice already getting a whole lot of value for the picks that they've been getting so far, the heroes that they've been playing so far.
Haven't seen too much projectile from Deepvoice, though. I guess we did see a little bit of Hanzo, but Hanzo's just a little bit different than playing the Pharah. So Chaos looking to get in position now, using that pillar in the middle, that clock tower to try and get these shots out is Deepvoice. Not really finding a lot of pay dirt just yet, though. Players are starting to back up, though, for Belladonna, and now has found a target in the Ash, one shot away, and E-Boy Crusher goes down. So Deepvoice now in a position to be on the opposite side. Can easily get on. Now goes back towards their team, though. Deepvoice, he can kind of just play behind these players in Belladonna to create that crossfire. I mean, not in the greatest positioning, but it's still working, so it's okay. They're going to get a pretty quick take here on the first point.
You're not going
I mean,
anywhere.
the goal is to get the victory, and if you get the victory, you got the victory. Getting E-Boy Crusher out of the fight early is one of the major picks here. You manage to focus down the right target to be able to give your Pharah free reign to keep on pumping out all that damage, and you see the results for it. 89% for the barrage already up in that counter, and you're going to be able to really pump that down. We see the swap off to the McCree from Midori to give some extra pressure on the Pharah, but it is a lot of free space that this flying Egyptian gets.
Yes. The other thing, too, Destiny goes over to the D.Va. So they have a lot now in this composition to try and deal with the Pharah, but they still have to take the Pharmacy comp out of the sky, which is something they still haven't been doing yet. Although Deepvoice isn't in the sky yet, so you really can't do that as of the moment. Destiny was going in, the barrage coming out, and it ends up being a double kill. Nico getting the first eliminate, going down first, and now you have players trying to get pushed off, but not going to work. But this is a lot of space that this, like you said, this Pharah is creating.
And this is such a nice play that they had there. Freezing the D.Va, seeing the immediate moment that there's no defense matrix to really cancel the barrage, and just putting it in fully, getting those two picks in, and now that Blizzard is going to come up to really get even more value, get the full push.
Now they're going to use the Blizzard on this point, ensure that they can get it. Air Shatter used as well. Maybe a little bit of over-alting here towards the end for Chaos, but they do get it through, and now they are on to the final point. They've got a massive time bank to complete this match.
5 minutes and 10 seconds. Like, that is what makes you happy if you're the attacking team. You've got so much time to work with. You've got nothing to worry about, and you know that the enemy team has got the full push in overtime. So that is already something to be happy about. Worthers will have that Graviton Surge ready, together with that barrage, will be really something to deal with for Belladonna.
E-Boy Crusher, though, sniped out of the sky. It's E-Boy, who does get rezzed back in, but this is still a fight that can be pretty good for this side of Belladonna. They have to just be careful here. They have lost a few players, both on either side. Graviton Surge Barrage coming out, not going to get anything. Players still staying alive through the grab, too. So those ultimates not going to find much. Now the self-destruct over, and it's a double kill. That'll ensure that they win the fight here for Belladonna. They also make sure that Camarilla doesn't get out on the Mercy. Now they're in a spot where alt-wise, it's actually kind of evened out.
It has evened out a bit. Belladonna slightly in the lead, especially with these very big ultimates like the Blizzard Mini Midori having this right at the ready. Also, Miko with the swap onto the Zenyatta, a very important one to have this very nice defensive ult, especially versus these Zarya Gravitons and the combos that can come from it. But the swap as well from Deepvoice off of the Pharah to the McCree is a nice one to provide a lot of chunk damage in this fight.
Well, they throw that Blizzard out, just yeet it into the middle of Chaos. Easy thing to do because you don't have to worry about a D.Va eating it up, and it results in a fight win. Even if it's not immediately, the players eventually do, and now they've built up some more ultimates. Belladonna in a very good position.
In an extremely good position, and the positioning as well. Like they're checking out like when are they coming in, what kind of value can we get. We can make sure with the shield up that the rest of our team can get possibly a bit more ult charge in, get some more damage done, maybe even get a pick off. But we now have the blizzard from Tardis. Desni does have the ability to either for the other side, but Tardis is already looking for this flank to put the blizzard in.
They do have Transcendence for it as well, though. Bob is going to come out first. No, out comes the ult. It gets eaten. Tardis is it gets eaten. No chance for the ult. Bob not doing a whole lot thanks to the wall. He's kind of just hanging out, but the cart isn't moving, and that team fight winning ult is gone.
And now you're once again on the back foot as the other side has got a lot more in the bank. Valiancy is going to be dropped to the octagon with Nico, but Transcendence is not going to save you from a Deadeye.
It's not going to save you, but it does at least keep the main tank up in Nico, who does end up falling, though. And now these players got to start moving back. They've got to give up some space and can't die. And there goes another one. Evoy Crusher falls.
I mean, you can still hold this. You've got 2 minutes. You still have a team fight. You can group up and make it back to the point. But not if there's a grab there.
Well, the grab is going to finish with time. The wall coming up, though. You still have to try and get through. They managed to get onto the point. They only get on for a little bit. A minute 56 left to go. They've got to try and stall out for a minute. They're not going to be able to do it. Now, before we go into this next attack for Chaos, if they want to win this outright, they have to win. It is first to 3, not best of 5. Just want to point that out as we look for Chaos here. A minute 52 to try and win this map.
It is a minute 52 to try and win this map, but as Belladonna has also got the full push and overtime, that means that the Chaos only needs the 1 attack to get 1 tick on the first point to get that victory in. And with 2 minutes on the clock, after seeing that initial fight that they managed to put in, that is very possible to get the victory. And Belladonna is gonna really have to figure out how to deal with this. You can already expect the Pharah. We see E-Boy Crusher already on the Ashe. Desni with the D.Va to be able to help a bit with that, but Deep Voice can go so high in the air on the first point that the D.Va's gonna have some trouble to try and deal with this Pharah from Chaos. And it's gonna be difficult for Belladonna to hold on to this. If they cannot deal with the Fire Mercy, it's basically all said and done. Though Nico with a sneaky charge.
This is well, I'm just gonna throw the fire strike out and then charge back. Okay.
Yeah.
Because if Nico she stayed there, then that's putting a lot on just hitting a charge. But they are at point. Now, we do see that Deep Voice is on the Pharah again, so you do have the same sort of situation, but last time, E-Boy Crusher focused on the front line, didn't really try to deal with Deep Voice, has already poked a little bit of damage into Deep Voice, does get healed back up, but we're seeing a little bit more focus go there, and there's the shot that you need to hit by E-Boy Crusher. The res coming back out. No, E-Boy Crusher won't let it happen. E-Boy Crusher is not letting her team lose this.
This is very much not, and now you've already burnt down 1 minute off the clock, so that is a very big one. You only have one more fight, and Deep Voice actually swapping off the Pharah, going for an Ashe of their own. Still sticking with the Mercy though, but now it's going to be an Ashe versus Ashe. The attack does have the Batiste to provide some extra damage, and the Immortality Field. But it's the Mei wall that's going to be a lot of trouble, especially if the Mei is away from the team.
Oh, the Earth Shatter coming out doesn't get anything, though, for Nico. They do have to give up some space now as a result. The team is back together, though. They are ahead in some of the ults. Destiny had to get that mech back is the only thing. Oh, no, but E-Boy Crusher getting caught out. This could spell disaster. The res does bring E-Boy Crusher back in. Still a chance here to hold on to this for Belladonna. Amplification Matrix back up, trying to get damage out of it. Nothing as a result yet. Instead, Nico's able to get down one of the supports. Both supports down. Belladonna a chance to hold on to this, but the Blizzard is coming out. Where did it go? Didn't see where the Blizzard went. I heard it go, but I don't know. I think Tardis got killed while using it.
Could very well just have been cancelled as Nico is still trying to hold on to it. Is there anyone on a point? No.
It's going to be a draw. Belladonna keeping themselves in this. I think Tardis died in the animation, and that's what caused them to win that map or draw that map, excuse me, because if Belladonna doesn't eat or isn't able to kill the May beforehand, she gets that off.
Triple kill.
And that would have been a full fight loss for Belladonna and a victory for Chaos, but Belladonna saying no to that victory and giving Chaos a run for their money. So very well played once again from both teams, and a chance for Belladonna to pull this back.
Yes, a very good chance for Belladonna to do that. We're going to go to the next map. I don't know what it's going to end up being here. It looks like Oasis will actually be the choice. Now, Control is the map that Belladonna did win. So this is where Belladonna did look best, but Oasis is a little bit of a different beast. You can use the Pharah that we've seen be very effective for Chaos on Gardens, and you can also use it on City Center if you get City Center Belly. So this is still a little bit of a tall task, it seems like, for Belladonna.
It is still a bit of a tall task. Though we've seen E-Boy Crusher being able to deal with the Pharah, but you're gonna have to make sure that E-Boy Crusher gets the opportunity to do so. If you get University, however, we've seen Midori with the Reaper being very successful, so that could turn it around as well. It seemed to be that Chaos, especially with these very well-placed Death Blossoms, that it could provide a lot of value for Belladonna to get the victory in Oasis. The Junkrat that we've seen Midori being a fan of could also work in universities. Not the strongest pick, but it could definitely work. On City Center, I would advise against it. In Gardens, it's a 50-50. Getting the Diva in, I think, is probably one of the bigger things to do. The Diva can be a very big pick, because I'm still expecting the May to come on through. We've seen Destiny being able to eat the Blizzard. Gotta pay attention to it, but it is very possible, and that can be a fight flipping moment.
To talk about how important eating Blizzard is, Destiny ate the Blizzard. I think it was on the attack of Chaos when they were pushing on that third point. Now, sure, Chaos will eventually go on and complete the map, but they probably have a much larger time bank if that's not eaten by Destiny. And it's not the only thing that she's been able to eat. She's eaten a couple of big ultimates on the side of Chaos. I think she had a grab on Busan on I think it was Downtown was the map. And then I think she's eaten maybe one or two more. So like that value is definitely there. But on the side of Chaos, they have not. I don't think they've played Diva yet.
No, they've just stuck with this Reinzari composition, feeling very comfortable with it. It's been working for them so far. They've gotten a lot of value for it, and but definitely what you say on Eichenwald, where that Blizzard Eat came in was, I'm pretty sure, the second fight going into last point. So that Blizzard Eat is pretty much set for approximately 2 minutes of burned off time off the clock. That is huge. If you're already going into that last fight with 2 minutes left, and you try to get that fight win with the Blizzard and it gets eaten, that means that you may not even be able to just finish the map. Like, that is a huge time bank that you can burn down with that one ability eat. So it's such a big ability to be using, and now going into Oasis, seeing Gardens first.
Yeah.
So a high ground can be quite strong if you make it to point and set up there. So Destiny with the Diva, I would give a bit of an advantage there. But Chaos have shown that they are not shying away from taking the high ground themselves, even if it's with Azaria.
And they can use the Pharah here. This is one of the best Pharah maps in the game.
It is absolutely one of the best Pharah maps in the game. Getting those arches in front of you to get all of that high ground contest with still having a lot of protection for both you and your Mercy, that is a difficult one to deal with. And if you don't really have a good head scan to deal with that, you're going to have a rough time. But looks like neither of the teams are opting for a Pharah. We're still seeing the Ashe coming on through. A lot of Ashe today, which is very surprising. While Belladonna is opting for... I am also happy to see it. I'm just not a fan of Bob. I mean,
Right.
come on, it's
Exactly.
Bob. Belladonna, though, still choosing for the Mercy. Personally, I would put a Mora or an Ana there. Mercy not the most amount of healing, but the damage boost can provide some extra value. So we'll see how that plays out.
You have a very meta composition coming through for Belladonna. Ooh, nice wall will block off the Zarya. Goodbye, Zarya. Obliterated at the beginning. Withers is rezzed back in, though. They do get Nick Nico down. So a good counter coming up from there, but I don't think Nick Nico's going to be able to be rezzed back in this fight. The freeze coming out onto some players, and Destiny will lose the Diva mech. So this is looking really good at the beginning for Chaos, as they now just have to take care of these players that are on the point. Ooh, nice shot onto Mini Midori. Looking for that Mercy, gets a little bit of help, and Clouded Sky goes down. Nick Nico back in, but she's a little bit late here to the party, and this is looking so good. Oh, but Nick Nico from behind, they never really realized it. So there's still a chance. Sound barrier in, Bob out onto the field to try and turn this around, though, for Chaos, and it looks like they will finally get themselves this point.
The Bob once again on a point, a very quick build of that ultimate used by a Deep Voice. Wally MC coming up to the Shatter, but especially TARDIS with the Blizzard ready to go in just a second. Evo Crusher not that far behind, honestly. Doesn't need that much of value to, doesn't need that much damage done to get their own Blizzard up, so they've got a tiny window to get a bit of an advantage here.
Well, TARDIS coming from behind, it looks like, or at least trying to sneak up behind. So now TARDIS will just shoot at those players that have taken the high ground. Earthshatter coming through, Blizzard out, not going to get eaten this time. Nick Nico the first to fall, and now the rest of Belladonna seems to follow afterwards. It's another good win for Chaos.
It's a very good win, and you talk about we talk about ult economy fairly often, and ult efficiency, and this is ult efficiency. You put in the Blizzard, you get a fight win. Belladonna tried to put in the Shatter to get some value, didn't manage. They also put in the Valkyrie, didn't get value. They have the Blizzard, and there's nothing really from Chaos to deal with it, so it's gonna be put in very fast.
And now they throw the wall up. It's keeping everybody alive while the Blizzard's around. They've got so many players frozen. They are able to still collapse in time. So a good win for Belladonna here. They're going to clip this point. They give up about 70% before that happens. 75, it looks like it'll build up to. Maybe even 70, no, 75.
75 is where we're going to end the counter for Chaos for now. It is once again on Destiny getting that Graviton Surge out of the fight, but we've already seen that Werther's is very good at placing this Graviton Surge where the Diva can't really do much against it. Either putting it against the wall, or maybe even using the Mei wall to get the Graviton Surge in, get a few people on, get those opening 1 or 2 picks, and just figure it from there. Midor now on the high ground with the Death Blossom. We've seen how much value she's been getting from that. So getting in the back line with the Death Blossom can provide devastating effect.
Has to be careful, though. There is that Ashe looking for her. Will teleport now up to the high ground. It was spotted out, though, it looks like. Earthshatter coming through. Couldn't see if it got anybody. You do have the Mei on the point. This team's getting a little bit split up here in Belladonna. Nobody going down, though, yet. Medivh thinking about coming in with that. Now the self-destruct is going to come in. Instead, and it's a double kill with it. The charge onto Wally. And then Evoy Crusher follows it up. This is another good fight from Belladonna. They look so good on control.
So to be very comfortable on control, and they're really shining on through. The ultimate economy, once again, Belladonna technically slightly behind, but the way that they're so very efficiently using their ultimates and also getting a quick pick off by the Mei is really providing a lot of value for them, and they've already equalized the counters, now going towards that 80%, while Chaos still has so much in the bank, but they're just not being allowed to use it.
It'll be about 90% when they're able to actually step onto the point for Chaos. So this is effectively last fight territory for Chaos if they can't win this on this map here of Gardens. Blizzard is going to come out first. Withers is going to be able to get out of it. Now looking for somebody. Nobody was in the Blizzard. Now they've got to use Graviton Surge. Mini Midori gets killed while using the Death Blossom. Even here, 4v4, 3v3, there's still a chance for either of these teams to win out, but they have to be careful. Overtime meter is starting. TARDIS gets swung into. Deep Voice needs to have a huge carry play, but gets hit with the Earth Shatter and goes down. It's only the Zarya left alive, and she's backing up in Withers. Withers will not, he won't be able to get to the point, and it will be a 1-0 lead for Belladonna.
I mean, that is just a brute force your way into the point and the enemy team off the point. Getting the Reinhardt just to shatter the rest of your team and pressing forward with the shield up, there's not much you can do at that point. Belladonna looking a lot stronger. As you mentioned here on these control points, it seemed like they've figured this out a bit more, and Team Chaos a bit less. They're looking a bit more wonky. They had so much ultimates in the bank, they didn't really get the chance to properly engage. Having one person out of position and getting an icicle to the head, it's not really gonna make it a lot easier per se, but getting the initiation is so key for these fights, and Belladonna seems to be doing that a lot better. Now going into city center, getting a nice high ground contest is gonna be fun for Destiny to fly around.
Yes, very good map for D.Va. That is for sure. Deep Voice has switched over to the McCree, so a little bit of a change here. A wrinkle in what they're doing. E-Boy Crusher does go down. D.Va losing Mech 2. So Chaos looking good in the beginning again, but they did last time too. And they will swing through Miko, and now they just got to take care of a Mercy and a Reaper, and they should do that with no problem.
Swinging for defenses and managing to do so successfully. Deep Voice with a fair amount of kills on his counter, having the Deadeye ready basically already after only getting 10% on the board. On the other side, we don't really have anything just yet, while Chaos is very much in the lead. This doesn't dissuade Belladonna from getting some value, though Destiny, now without a mech, that's painful.
Not going to be alive either, so now this is a 6v5. You can kind of see Belladonna kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. That can be cut off now from their D.Va, but the D.Va can get back to you pretty easily. They actually res the D.Va, so very smart from them to do that. Now they have control of the high ground. They block off players with the May wall, and the Deadeye has to wait for that to go down, and there's nobody there. So now the Deadeye not getting any value. That ultimate can still be countered very well in situations like that. Shatter came through. Don't know if it got anybody. It was off screen while it happened, but you do have this Zarya getting charged away. The Reaper on the high ground shooting from there. This is a lot of percentage going over to Chaos at the very least. Withers going down to the Fire Strike, and this is just slowly becoming Belladonna's fight, and the Blizzard will seal the victory there on the fight.
I'm getting a bit of deja vu here as I see the counter ticking up to about 70, possibly 75%. As Belladonna is starting to take this point back and starting to get their advantage rolling again. Now having the bomb ready, Midori with the Death Blossom, didn't really find that much value on the previous map, but that doesn't mean that it is impossible on this one. The only thing that we've got on the other side for Chaos is the Graviton with the Blizzard, and either Destiny might be able to eat the Graviton, or they recognize in the Graviton and they just eat the Blizzard.
Huge Death Blossom with the help of the Earth Shatter, though, won't even let any of that happen, as they are going to go right back to spawn. So, like you said, very similar the way this is going.
It is very similar, and 35% on the board. As I said, Chaos now with the Graviton Surge and the Blizzard. If we put the Blizzard in, and he managed to get the whole team, Destiny knows we're probably gonna put in, if we put the Graviton Surge, sorry. Destiny knows you're gonna probably put in the Blizzard as well. It's just easy to eat it, so it's gonna be a difficult one to really pull off as a combo. This is primary, it is their primary win condition.
Oh, grab comes out, so does the Blizzard. The Deadeye will get Miko. So they were able to get off. I think, did Miko get the sound barrier off in time? I don't think so. So now you're just trying to stay alive for the players that are left and keep themselves together. They did have players cut off. That was the only problem. E-Boy Crusher going down for Belladonna. Deep Voice looking for that Mercy, throws the flashbang in, finally will take that down, and they will get to probably about 85% here. We'll see if they continue this stagger onto the point or not. They actually have the Lucio still doing this. This is huge for Belladonna.
89% on the 90% on the board. You still have one more fight left in you, though you do have to worry about the Shatter and especially the Amplification Matrix. But you're coming up to a Blizzard after all. E-Boy Crusher has that ready. Nothing to really deal with it apart from the Immortality Field, which is usually not going to do that much anymore.
Oh, threw it out. It actually didn't go very far. It will block players off from getting to the point, but the Earth Shatter coming through. One player down on either side. No Mercy, so no res, but Nico able to get two. Nice flash on, but it's not enough. You've got just the Reinhardt's on either side. A good pin coming through, but Nico's so low. Cass to get healed up. Shatter coming through to try and stay in this, but it's not enough. We're going to have to go to the final point on Oasis to find the victor here. See if this extends on for another map or if Chaos can take the win.
This is now, once again, their map to win it. Still a 2-1 lead for Team Chaos. Belladonna seems to have been picked apart a bit more by Team Chaos, also seemingly feeling a bit less confident in a city center. Now University being a completely different type of map once again can really shift the delta in anyone's favor. Both of the teams still opting for the Mei. And that is going to be a deciding factor here, who gets the better walls off. A University being this very closed off map with these very nice choke points that you can wall off a few players and really get a lot of value from.
A lot easier here than the last map too.
Absolutely. So that is where you're going to be watching out for where the value is going to be coming.
Well, it looks like the value is already coming through. Tardis gets blocked off, but because it's Bardis, they're able to ice block in. And Miko is actually the first one to fall. They can now come back through for this side of Chaos. Now that they have a 6v5 advantage, they haven't really been able to push it too much just yet, but now they find their target in E-Boy Crusher. Miko charging right in, not able to get enough value. And it looks like it'll be a first take for Chaos again. They have taken the point first on every single point of Oasis.
They have very much, so it is Belladonna's task to pull it back once again at approximately 75%. As we now see a swap, Desni going from the Diva over to the Zarya. But once again, this Lucio Mercy setup, it's not a lot of healing, so Chaos will have just ever so slightly more sustain for their front line primarily. But Nico almost up to the Shatter. That is going to be one thing to try and deal with, and the Valkyrie already coming out. I don't know, it's an economy push.
Deadeye coming through, so economy already going better for Belladonna because they force out that ultimate, but now they have to make something of it. The ice wall coming up, players do get blocked off. It's the Reinhardt. Nico's going to go down. Nico not able to stay alive, and now they're just pushing on here to try and regroup, it looks like, for the rest of the players that are left.
Force with some very nice shots to try and clean it up. Flashbang to finish that Lucio off. And now Chaos again with all the cards in their hands. They've got the Blizzard, they've got the Graviton Surge, they've got the Shatter, they've got the Amplification Matrix. Especially if you get the Graviton Surge Blizzard again as one of those major win conditions, that is really where you can open this up. But no, Midori back at the Junkrat.
Oh, the Junkrat making its presence known already. Blizzard's out on either side. Flashbang coming out, but nothing through in the Graviton Surge. Too little, too late. This is a fight win for Belladonna.
It's a fight win for Belladonna around that 75% mark. It is deja vu over deja vu. And getting Tardis out of the fight early means that if you then put in the Graviton Surge, you don't really have that much follow-up, and a nice stagger pick here still coming on through. The Blizzard is still available. Tardis did not manage to put that in. also did not get killed during the animation, so that is still available. You've got nothing to deal with it. At the moment, you really have nothing to deal with it. You have no immortality fields, you have no defensive ultimate. You cannot let this blizzard get to you, because that is Belladonna out of the fight, and Chaos with the victory of this series.
One fight is all they need to seal this for Chaos. The Will's going up on either side. Players are blocked off. Wally is down, though, already is the only thing. So you don't maybe want to commit that in without your Reinhardt to swing into everybody. And they're just going to back off here. They know they only have to win one fight. They don't waste anything for Chaos. But they're giving up ult economy to Belladonna, who's going to have some things here that can, maybe they don't defensively work, but offensively, they have some things to counter.
They very much have a fair few things to counter. As you mentioned, the economy now going very more in favor of Belladonna. You really need to take the initiative, and Belladonna is going to be in the opportunity to do that pretty soon.
They all get out of the blizzard too, so the blizzard doesn't get anything. They can counter with a blizzard of their own. The grab coming in too to ensure that nobody leaves that. Earthshatter gets used there as well. They wanted to make sure they win this fight because that might end up being the last fight. There's enough time for maybe one more, but you have to get back quick if you're Chaos.
You do have to get back quick, and you already know now the blizzard is not available anymore. You have to worry about the shatter, but this tire, as we said before, if you only get the one pick off and you get the right pick off, that is it done for. Decoys in the back line. That's gone.
I think he was going for the Deadeye flank. It ends up not working out. Earthshatter coming out. Now the Rip Tire coming through. If it's big here, that might just be enough. You have Withers getting frozen up too. Won't stay alive for long. And Belladonna's going to be able to keep this one going, clearing the point off of just a Moira, the only one left to have to deal with. They will be able to push us to a map number 6. These players that are coming back doesn't really matter because we know who's won this map.
Belladonna indeed very much the victor of the control maps at the very least. But if history is to repeat itself, the next map is going to make it quite difficult.
Play of the game.
A very nice fight from both teams. Once again, it's close, but it's funny to see. I'm not gonna lie, the 75% is the point where Belladonna suddenly starts shining.
Yeah.
I don't know what the magic is about 75, but yeah.
So there's a lot of pressure, right? When the percentage is that high for the other team and everything for you staying in the match, all the pressure is on you. So pressure does two things. It either makes pipes burst or it creates diamonds. In this point, you can say it created diamonds for this team in Belladonna, and they've evened things up 2-2. And we know we have one more map left for us here. So we're going to take a timeout, it sounds like, first. And then when we come back, we will have that final map for you. This has been wild, though, for sure. We'll see you in a few.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
We welcome you back here as we get ourselves a map number 6 for our first game here of the NA side. Chaos versus Belladonna tied up 2-2. We had a draw on our hybrid map, so we get ourselves another control map to go to. Belly is the as we are getting ready for this final one. Belly, Ilios, where we're going for our final map of control challenges for you, but we know that Belladonna so far has been able to win every control map.
Belladonna, the clutch champions on control maps, getting that final fight for their own in the sites and clutching it out from there and holding the point. Doing very well. Ilios, though, as you mentioned, it's a whole new set of maps, which also work a bit differently. You've got the Notorious Well map, so boot meta, all the rage, get everyone just in that pit of despair that I can recommend not actually putting your observing camera in. The sound down there is haunting.
Now I want to know what it sounds like.
It's terrifying. It's very difficult to describe. It is actually like you've got these ghost sounds in your ears. It's wonderful. That being said, that as well. Lighthouse, less boob heavy, though still still one to watch out for, where you would probably see the Diva. I would like to see the Pharah coming out again, though the Junkrat might be seeing some playtime as well. Then you've got Ruins, nice long sidelines where I would expect the Ashe to come out to play once more, especially with that Mercy pocket. So lots of different things that we're going to be able to see. And yeah, Belladonna has got it in their hands to win control. If history is to repeat itself, they might bring this back. But Chaos has been playing very well so far as well. All been close maps either way. So it's not impossible for either team. It's kind of up in the air, honestly, Lebosco.
It really is. And you think about Ruins as our first map. This is maybe the map where you would think Chaos is maybe strongest because the hit scan of Deep Voice is so good. This is maybe the map where he can affect things the most.
Oh, absolutely. Either on the Ashe, maybe we'll see even a Widowmaker coming out, but also the McCree, very much an option in this current meta. Deep Voice is going to be a difficult one to deal with. If Belladonna can't pin the hit scan out from a Chaos, can't pin him down, then they're going to have a difficult time on this fight. And if Deep Voice is going to be sticking with this Widowmaker, it's going to be a bit of an advantage versus Ebony Crush, and especially Midori, the Junkrat, very prone to flying around through those mines, which makes you a very easy target for a headshot from the French sniper. So it's one to watch out for, but I like the dive coming out for Belladonna.
Yes, they don't have much in the way of DPS heroes that are going to dive with the targets, but the splash damage that can come through from the Junkrat, it's almost like he's right there anyways, as they found their first target. Tardis doesn't even get a chance to ice block. Died so quickly, and now they can just jump on to whatever target is next.
Well, I'm also wondering why Deep Voice is in the middle of the team as the sniper, not really getting a nice crossfire in. That is kind of what you want to see. Now on a different side is gonna get jumped, but you want to get that crossfire in. So that is where Deep Voice is gonna have to be playing for the next couple of fights. Alt economy is slow to get rolling, around about 50%. So we do have some economy pushes to come in for the future.
Well, they're going to try and surround the tanks of Belladonna, and that doesn't go well at all. Itsy Boy already down. Nico will go down, though, too. So now here's the opening for Chaos, as they now have an advantage here. The Junkrat being taken low by Tardis will be able to keep himself up. Nice use of his Fade to make sure he does that. I said Fade, it's his Wraith Walk, excuse me.
Well, and the Wraith Walk getting a nice speed boost, getting the reload, a wonderful ability for the Reaper to get a lot of value. Defa's looking for a nice pick here, and with the sights up, they will be knowing exactly where Belladonna is going to be coming from. But Nico, with the proper rage, will be able to displace everyone from Chaos very well, and also get out with this alive much more.
Very, very deliberate dive onto Deep Voice here. Now uses the ultimate, looking for a head to shoot onto. The Diva gets in the way, but not for long enough, as E-Boy Crusher will go down. Oh, and Bob gets the double kill while Deep Voice was trying to take the Mercy out, who was rezzing it, goes right back over to Belladonna.
A very nice play there. The Primal Rage just moving everyone around, putting the Bob on point as well. Now you've got the swap from Deep Voice onto the McCree. It's going to help to get a bit more consistent damage, and so maybe not the easy pick-off, but that consistent damage is going to be huge. Tardis will be looking to get a sneaky pick around to get another huge death possible.
Did he use the grab? The boop, though, onto the Reaper as he's using ult. No value at all. Earth Shatter's pretty big, but the kill from behind onto Wally. He can't charge in and get that quick elimination. This is going so well for Belladonna.
It's going very well for Belladonna, not even letting Chaos get to that 75%, being very coordinated, especially with their dive, knowing which targets to go for, and diving it with all of the appropriate team members to really get a lot of damage in. Now, you've got nothing in the bank for Chaos. You're coming up to the Coalescence, yes, and that can be quite powerful. Belladonna, they've got Bob, they've got Valkyrie, and it's the Bob coming out first, putting out so much damage.
Finding a target too in Itsy Boy. Deep Voice down next. Overtime meter has started the Coalescence, not doing anything for Chaos. Desperation self-destruct won't find anything, but that's okay because their team isn't actually that desperate. For some reason, it seemed like E-Boy Crusher was trying to avoid it. Threw me off, but that's okay because E-Boy Crusher, she stays alive. Her team wins the fight, and now they need to win only one more point, and they can come back and win this.
Score
This is,
0-1.
I mean, what you would call very much a reverse sweep. No, not full sweep, but still, they're pulling it back after 2 losses, and they've got 1 win on the board. If they can get well down here, that is going to be huge. The dive into the Reaper as well, it seemed to be just going perfectly fine for Belladonna. Managed to stay away from the shotguns of Reaper to really avoid all of that chunk damage coming in, getting the right targets off, getting the squishes off, and just snowballing in from that. And they're still opting to go with the dive here on the Well. Maybe Miki will get a nice boop kill in, but Chaos still around Zarya. It's an interesting pick here for Well, but just to see how this will play out.
Not that it can't work, but it is definitely not something we've been seeing a lot of. Orisa is still strong on Well with the ability to halt people into the Well. Ooh, nice block of the flashbang with that bubble coming down. Nico jumping right back out, now looking for that opportunity to come back in. Ooh, nice dynamite from above. Nico getting booped into the pit, but has up the ability to use those jump. So still alive for Nico. Has to stay away though, needs to get healed back out before they can initiate back in. She still does go in anyways. It will lose her life, so will Miko. So they never really got a target down for Belladonna. They built up to some of their ults very close, but you've got to get eliminations.
So the scary thing for this point is getting the dive done well, and you don't really have a good sightline to go for. On ruins, you can see exactly where you need to go. Here you need to kind of blind dive over a wall, and that is going to make this dive all the more difficult. Though we are coming up to the tower from Midori, that can open up a fight as we've seen before. One thing to watch out for is the high noon from Deep Voice. The Coalescence will be able to keep a lot of people alive even after you've already lost someone.
Good damage going on to the Reaper in TARDIS, but getting healed up by the Coalescence. Midori now trying to get onto the Reinhardt, fighting in a closed room. That actually doesn't go well for the Reinhardt. Miko got a boop kill on it too, and Bob gets 2 of his own, and they're going to be able to take this point. 46% built up to by Chaos.
Okay, Chaos is gonna be sweating at this point. They know how it went the previous times, and now Belladonna has the control of the point. 10% on the ticker. We've already got we still have the tire ready, but now as well the sound barrier, which means that you're gonna be able to deny a fair bit of damage coming in from a lot of abilities that Chaos will be able to throw at them, as well as the Primal Rage with the bomb to displace everyone as the bomb flies through the air. It is a lot to deal with.
It really is. They are down 1 though right now. Using that Rip Tire forces out the sound barrier. So Midori trying to wait it out for as long as possible, so that way they can try to get any eliminations, but not going to do so. Nice fire strike from Wally, but TARDIS is still going to go down. So Midori still able to get a kill, even though the tire doesn't really do a whole lot. Throws in the mine, not going to find much there. Deep Voice though, finding 2 for Chaos. They have a chance to get back into this one, especially with Midori going down. So now Chaos will get back control.
There was no real other follow-up, unfortunately, but the tire, seemingly, as I said, no real value, but getting the sound barrier out is a lot of value that you can get. One defensive ultimate out to really give you an advantage can make or break one of these fights. However, they also use their own sound barrier, so now you've lost the advantage. Chaos with 5 shiny buttons at the ready. They've got all the tools on hand to hold this point with 60% on the counter. Just a Death Blossom or with a Graviton Surge to get one more fight win in and then clean it up from there. But
TARDIS being down early, and now Werther's. Doesn't matter if you have an ult advantage if you don't use them. Deadeye only gets out the Bob. That's not a lot of value. Destiny is able to get Wally, and they're going to take this point away from all the ultimates that Chaos had. Belladonna now pushing forward. They know they can only, if they can get one more pick or 2, it leaves it down to 1 team fight.
that is what you want to see. Also, TARDIS, same as crossing the road, look left, look right, and look behind, because you never know when there's suddenly a Junkrat around. And that was a very nice opening to give you the advantage that you want to get. But that Graviton Death Blossom is still available.
Not going to get anything with it, though. Booped away by the Diva, who was also using the defense matrix. But Nico ends up falling into the pit, I think. Died somehow. So you've lost your main tank. Overtime meter has started. The Earth Shatter coming through. Graviton Surge following it up. Riptire, though, coming through from Mini Midori. They are going to give this up, though, is the only thing. And now you've got to try and win this short-handed if you are Belladonna, as they're going to have to try come back in. It's already up to 92%.
Up to 90%. Someone's going to have to touch to make sure that overtime is going to start ticking down once again. And you have that bomb to make everyone go off of the point, so you still have a good chance to hold this.
Self-destruct going in, not going to get anything there by Destiny, but E-Boy Crusher going down on the side to the Deadeye is the only thing, but Nico is back in on the Reinhardt, able to get out the Lucio, so you don't have that speed to push onto these players. It's all about the poke game right now, and the res will bring E-Boy Crusher back in. E-Boy Crusher close to a Bob as well. Bob could be the difference in this fight. It's the closest ultimate that there is going up, and you have the Moira going down. Now the Bob 4% away. Sound barrier by Miko keeping everybody alive. Bob is up, thrown onto the point. Now you have the dynamite going through. Players have to avoid the point here. It's going to flip here back over to Belladonna, and now they're getting the eliminations needed. Only one more player left alive. The overtime meter too fast, and Belladonna pulling it out from the jaws of defeat. They get themselves this victory.
That is something. Pulling it back, getting those control map victories in the draw on Icon Vault was paramount to the victory of Belladonna. Getting that 6 map in, that was their victory, and they played it really well, managing to stagger out just at the end point, getting the correct picks in to really clean it up, and just in general, great play, and Belladonna take the victory, but not without a huge fight from Chaos, who nearly got the victory of their own, just ever so slightly fell short, but I mean, that's how the game suddenly sometimes works. That's how sometimes the cards fall. Very well played by both of these teams.
It was a fun game for sure from both sides. I mean, Deep Voice was a player that we talked about who was really good. Like all the players on these teams were fun to watch. We saw some great plays from TARDIS on the Reaper and some of the other heroes. Werther's on the Zari had some big grabs. Wally hit some big shatters. And both Itzy Boy and Camarillo did really good on both of the supports for this team in Chaos, even though they end up losing here. Belladonna, I mean, Mini Midori, E-Boy Crusher, as far as DPS, they were lights out. Destiny eating grabs and eating blizzards. Nick Nico with a bunch of big shatters as well. Played a really good Winston, too. That was super important. And then Clouded Sky and Miko. You know, Clouded Sky played a lot of Mercy there, she did, but she still was super big with some of the reses that she was able to get off, some of the timely reses that came out. And then Miko as well was super good on the Lucio. So both of these teams do extremely well here. I mean, final thoughts for this first game that we have. We still got another one that's left to go.
We've only just started, basically. We've got the first match just over, and we still have another match to go, and it should be a good one. It's from the expert bracket, so Grandmaster Division. I'm looking forward to it. If it's anywhere close to what this was, it should be some very, very wonderful Overwatch.
Well, it's Project Neptune versus UCLA Esports Varsity. So that alone, I mean, UCLA, obviously a very big university in the United States. Just that alone is cool to see, and see them competing here in Get Good, I think is really cool. But for sure, something that's been a lot of fun. We're going to take a timeout. We're going to get everything set up for that next map. But again, congrats to Belladonna on the win. Chaos was super, super close. And we'll be back here with that next one. Don't go anywhere.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played, competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then two captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.
We welcome you back here as we get ready for our final game of the night. Labasco here alongside of me. I have Belly as we are getting ready for UCLA versus Project Neptune. And this looks to be a really good one as it's one of the first ones we get to see at our top level.
That is very true. Getting in the expert division, so the GM teams that we will be seeing UCLA versus Project Neptune, as Labasco just mentioned. And looking in the team sheets, I'm seeing a lot of meta. Basically, what
is a
is
surprise.
I mean, you're at the GM level. You kind of have to run what is primarily seen as meta. Though I see for UCLA, Anna, McCree, May, Diva, Reinhardt, Farah, Anna, McCree. So they have two subs and they have some variety. On the other side, I see Ryan, then Zarya, Diva, and Sigma, Widow, Hanzo, May, McCree, Lucio, Bab. I see some more options. And that gets me excited for a team like Project Neptune, where you might be seeing some. Though you always have this difference between will the team that is more capable of being flexible, will they get the victory, or will it be the team that is just very well trained in what they do? And that is always a bit of a split off.
It really can be, but we get to load into our first map here, and it's going to be Ilios is where we go to first. So UCLA, well, they're matching their colors for their school. They're in the blue. I almost said wearing blue. And then Project Neptune is red to start off here. Lighthouse is where we go to first, so we know that there are some areas that you can get booped off. We know that you can play a variety of different things here, but we know meta, Ryan Diva has been one of the main things we've seen for tanks, and we're actually seeing very contrasting styles here. This is what UCLA keeps.
I would be surprised if this is what they keep, but
I would be too.
The meta is still kind of in the air, though it is primarily Ryan, Diva, May, Lucio, which are the key components. The second DPS and the second support can vary a bit here and there. But yes, I would be surprised if UCLA indeed, and we see the full mirror matchup, so this is going to be no real surprises here, and it should provide for some good games here.
Really should, as we see both of these teams approaching each other, as it looks like the first one is going to be Halcyon just shooting out some shots here, right-clicking on to that shield, looking for something here, not finding anything as of yet. Has to be careful, did take a good shot. Oh, but hits two headshots on a Dr. Fancy Pants. Looks for the flashbang onto the McCree. Cal going down, though, so this is still anyone's fight. You do get the Diva to get pulled down, though. This is starting to turn in favor of UCLA. Have to make sure they keep their McCree up in this. Stun onto the Reinhardt. Nice use of the flashbang to get him out, and then the fan of the hammer, and UCLA will win this fight first.
They will absolutely win this fight. First, Halcyon also almost already at that, basically has the Deadeye ready. Popper as well with a nice lead on Dr. Fancy Pants by about 40%, which is huge. Getting that Nado in early can be a game changer. Probably going to put it on the Reinhardt to provide some extra frontline damage coming in as these teams get ready to brawl it out just a bit more. Project Neptune have to go for a bit more of an eco push.
Halcyon on the high ground with the anti-nade comes out, hits a few Deadeye on either side. Jasper going down, the D.Va coming in, but too late and ends up losing the mech instead. Halcyon doing a very good job of not taking too much damage when he does get hit. He gets healed up nicely. UCLA already up to 35%.
4%, basically to fight wins. Didn't even have to get all that many kills, and now we're coming up to a proper ultimate economy. Itadakimasu has the bomb ready. We have the nano there as well. Maybe we'll see the bomb shatter. I've been hoping for it all evening, but yes, a lot ready.
The only thing problem is Bull will get to the eat of the Blizzard coming out from Grantissimo, so a little bit surprised that Grantissimo ends up using that when that was a losing fight. This is going to go over eventually to Project Neptune. They just got to deal with the D.Va that's on the point.
They're just trying to stall for a bit more point percentage. Got to make sure that this timer goes up to approximately 75%. Now, going into the next fight, we have the Blizzard for Octane as well, so it's going to be up to Itadakimasu to get the eat off, similar to Rogue's one. But we have so much available for UCLA. Would expect them to go nice and aggressive with that nano boost on the Reinhardt, speed boost on top of it to give some nice wins.
Well, the Blizzard going to come out first. Another eaten Blizzard. This time, it's going to be UCLA eating it. They use their Earth Shatter here as well, along with their Self-Destruct, and they are easily going to take this back. They use 4 ultimates, excuse me, but that's okay. You only really need to win this fight.
You indeed really only need to win this fight. We're approaching last fight territory. There is still one more proper fight to come in, but on the other side, you barely have anything left as well. The Deadeye can be devastating. It's going to be up to Rogue to really try to deny a lot of value from that, but it's good to see these teams as well just denying fire strikes.
Have the Deadeye coming through, not going to find anything. Good shield blocks all of the damage that was coming from Halcyon. Now it has to make sure he stays alive. Self-destruct coming through. It's not going to hit anybody, though. It will force them onto the point. Now the brawl here to determine who's going to win this fight. See if it'll be UCLA taking this first point or not. They freeze up the D.Va, block her off from escaping, and this should be the win here as long as they don't die or at least lose too many to the Deadeye. They do lose Grantissimo, though. But UCLA looks like it's too much here. Sound barrier committed in. Oh, frozen out of it, though. You have a couple players left on either side. There's still a chance for Project Neptune to stay in this.
You didn't just lose Grantissimo, you lost the Blizzard as well. It got denied as well as the Shatter, but Cal proving that that doesn't matter if you can just build another Shatter in the same fight.
Which he pretty much did. Didn't get to use it, but that's okay because his team still ends up winning the point. There just weren't enough reinforcements for Project Neptune to eventually take it, but they have themselves a 1-0 lead here, Belly. It looks pretty darn good, and now we go to Well, where we already saw some boops come out from Nashik. Nashik, though, can get some more here on Well. We know that.
Well is the main map to get all of your environmental kills on if you are a Lucio. But not just the Lucio, we see Jasper also teasing the Orisa, so it's going to be waiting out whether they're going to actually go for it. Getting the hold hooks off is going to be an option, but the Reinhardt is going to make that quite difficult. Having that in German with the hammer ready to just keep his shield up, this is going to deny the hook entirely. So you're really going to have to pinpoint exactly where you're going to hold hook to get the value, and as you already mentioned, watch out for the boops.
Yes, exactly. Watch out for the boops. You know, you can still fortify if you are the Orisa, but we know that it has been nerfed, especially the amount of time that it's up for. It doesn't last quite as long. Ooh, nice hook through. That looks like he timed it perfectly to pull the D.Va in, but the D.Va doesn't die. The wall goes up. 2 players get frozen, but nobody is dead yet. Halt almost pulling the D.Va in Grandissimo, but is able to stay on the point. And now they lose Halcyon. They do freeze up the Reinhardt, though, so we're even here, 5v5. Players lost on either side, but the Halt by Jasper pulling 2 in. Oh, but the boop puts Jasper into the pit. This is still not going perfectly, but Project Neptune should have the first take.
Neptune will have this. Environmental kills are a force to be reckoned with, essentially. The well is such a dangerous place to play around, and even with the knockback reduction that the Reinhardt has gotten, you cannot play it that close to the well. You really have to make sure that you are out of boot range to stay alive from that damage. Getting that supercharger ready, though, is going to be very much a big player in this upcoming fight. The only thing that UCLA really has is, once again, this Nano Reinhardt, which has worked for them before. Cal being able to build up that shatter is going to provide for a huge opportunity for them to win a fight.
Coalescence coming out, and if Sheik, though, is going to get Jasper off, so they don't have that Orisa there to protect the supercharger. The supercharger is still up, though. They just don't get as much value out of it because they didn't have the shield to stand behind it. Instead, it's Halcyon on the other side who's able to do just so much. And Pool cannot get away, charged into and dies, and UCLA takes this back. They gave up 53%.
And gave up about half the point, but now they've got a nice forward position. And you have the Orisa Roadhog, which likes to be bunkered up. You're now not bunkered up, you have to be pushing in, and this is putting you already just in a less favorable position based off the composition you've got. However, Octane has the Blizzard ready, but Itadakimasu is the one that can eat it, not if you're gone.
Yeah, Grantissimo is already dead, so you've lost one of the important people for not allowing them to be able to get into that bunker, and Cal gonna be hooked right into the pit. Sure, you can't get knocked back as much, but you can still be pulled into the pit, and Project Neptune able to take this back.
Gonna be able to take this back. They have, however, also invested the Sand Barrier, which didn't really seem to be all that necessary. Both of the maze have the Blizzard ready, so we might be seeing the Venn diagram of inevitable death coming up pretty soon. Bull as well with the High Noon. That could be a nice combo to get some value. Not the easiest one.
Well, out will come the Blizzard. Eaten, though. No Blizzard coming out for Project Neptune. Instead, it's a dead Bull. And now a maybe frozen Roadhog. Nice try in the boot by Nick. Isn't able to get the D.Va, the Mei in. Blizzard coming out. This one will not get eaten. But the only problem is Grantissimo had to give up their life to get that Blizzard out. Their team still needs to win this. It's already up to 92%, and it's not going in their favor. Project Neptune going to force this to maybe go to Ruins.
Well, not really the favorite map for UCLA after a very good first one. They've also got a the supercharger to run into, which is going to make it quite difficult to really get any point pressure done. The damage output from that is going to be
Bull just trying to get that D.Va out of mech with the help of the supercharger, throwing the flashbang onto Cal. And this is not looking good for UCLA. The Doomfist dying immediately, and Pupper just stalling for as long as possible. It just doesn't work. Nice try by Sheik, not going to do much though. This will be over to Project Neptune, and we're tied 1-1 on this first map of Ilios. We go to Ruins to find our winner.
We definitely are going to go to Ruins, and I wonder whether we'll see some more snipers or whether we'll see more of the same. The faster picks to get back to the point are gonna be swapped off of to go to a more conventional style, and it looks like it's going to be all meta once again. So more blizzards to be eaten by divas, which has been going very successfully so far. Not many blizzards have really made it through as of yet. As we go into Ruins, no long range fighting here, though actually when I say that, Bull with the Widowmaker now trying to find some nice early headshots.
Nothing yet for Bull though. Looking for an opportunity to be on the side away from where his team is. He is on a low ground spot though, so he is even with where that shield is, just waiting for Deanna to see if she'll peek. He knows that she's there. Doesn't get a shot onto her in the body, but it's not going to do a whole lot. Nothing yet. Good shot onto Hal. Hal getting extremely low. They'll both go down at low. No, the Widow is still alive, actually. Gets healed right back up, but she was able to win that fight. Ooh, takes a nice headshot from one of those icicles, but this is going over first to UCLA, even though they have less players.
UCLA somehow still just managing to grab the point, as Project Neptune is just falling back a bit more after losing their main tank. Now going into this next fight, a nice focus fire on Itadakamas is going to get the Diva out of mech, but not before she's gonna take someone with her. Coming up to the Shatter as well, but it is once again the Blizzard from Fortissimo that is going to be this big fight-winning ultimate that we will be seeing soon, and a nice positioning here from UCLA at a wonderful chokehold.
Yeah, so even though it was kind of an even fight, I guess I should have said. But either way, doesn't matter. Right now, 43% for UCLA. They've had the switch of Pool over to Reaper. Now you have the Blizzard coming out to try and freeze the nano-boosted Reinhardt, which it does do. They take him down. The Diva in there as well. A couple of other players doing so. Grantissimo, Boop killed, though. That's a loss of 1. Sound barrier for UCLA to make sure that they win this fight.
They really want to get that percentage up, and if you can keep that advantage up to get the ticker to keep on ticking, and they're really going aggressive to keep on getting the straggler picks off. Now Project Neptune with 3 very strong ultimates at the ready. You can Shatter Bomb combo to really get on through. You have the Blizzard as a backup, so this is Project Neptune's fight to win, but not without a main healer.
Without that main healer, it's going to be really tough. Reaper is able to get out with his Wraith form too, but not for long. Bull goes down. Oh, Halcyon 2 kills to get them down. Jasper, though, with the Earth Shatter, getting 2 back, gets taken down, though, self-destruct onto the point. Will at least have this stalled out, at least for the moment, by the Diva in Rogue, but Rogue cannot live for long. As the overtime meter starts to go away, the Anna, the one there, frozen up and killed. The Lucio coming on to stall along with the Reaper and Bull. But these players just streaming on one at a time, not going to be enough as they get locked off by the Maywall, and UCLA will win map number 1.
Fields going to UCLA, as you mentioned. Well, was a bit of a trouble because of shenanigans, it seemed. Getting this a very controlled map where you can really control a good choke point is where UCLA seem to feel very comfortable in to really hold the point very consistently. So this is their series to take at the moment, but we never know after this first control map. It can go any which way
Really
as we go on to the first escort map.
Yes. So when you look at both of these teams, and we've seen some very high level and very good play, it seems like from both. What should we be looking here for Project Neptune to do? Because other than well, they were beaten not really well, but it was still pretty close. But it was clearly in favor of UCLA. What was the difference, at least in that first map?
I would put that primarily on positioning.
Mhm.
You had a fair few times where someone gets taken out early where they didn't have to get taken out early. The upside that you get with where they go Orisa Hog is you've got the Roadhog who can punish and pull people out of position on the other side, and also get punished less for being out of position. So those things like we saw towards the end there, the Ana getting picked off while the enemy team is still trying to group up. The Reaper being in the backline on his own. Sure, you're trying to do a bit of damage, but the flashbang combo, if the communication had been, or if the response had been faster, I should say, because communication seemed to be there, if the response had been faster, the Reaper would have been dead too. So it's a bit of that, like, make sure that you stay alive and you go in 6v6, because we saw that they could take a good fight for Project Neptune. but not when you're fighting 5v6.
Right. Right. So obviously for UCLA, if you keep creating advantages like that, you're going to do just fine. Rialto is the map where we're going to go to next. Of course, this is the choice of Project Neptune. So as far as we are concerned here for the map of Rialto, we haven't seen Farah yet, but we know Farah is a possibility here. We know it's pretty strong, especially on the first 2 points. There are parts where it's difficult to play May, but you probably still play May if you're both of these teams. It seems like a map that there are a couple of things that you can maybe do here that are a little bit different here for either team.
You can definitely do some things different, and one thing that I find interesting, we've got Bull here as the ringer um, for Project Neptune. He primarily chose to play Genji. Not really a very highly picked hero, though we have seen him also in the Overwatch League. So in tier 2, tier 3 scene, if you get a Nanoblade off, that's still a lot of value, but it can be a lot of work to get that one built up.
And to
Maybe
point
we'll
out,
see
to,
that
to
become-
add on, oh, sorry, to add on that, I was going to say, we see it on assault maps, if anywhere. Usually.
Absolutely. Like, it is one of those things where you just get a fight win, and that is where you then get the win in off. The Pharah that you mentioned, I'm hoping for once again. It is a fun thing to also just watch to get that, possibly the dogfight in the air. Though it doesn't look like either of these teams are opting for it. It seems like they're opting both for full meta. Though Dr. Fancy Pants kind of teasing possibly a bit of Farah going for the Mercy for a bit, but we'll never know until the map actually starts. The Farah can be very strong, but meta is meta, and if it's considered strongest, then you'll probably see a fair amount of it. And this is a fairly strong setup that they have going on right now for both of these teams.
And it's almost a mirror.
It is almost a mirror. Dr. Fancy Pan still waiting whether they'll be sticking with this Mercy. They will not. It will be
So
the
full mirror.
full mirror. And the goal for both teams, obviously, to get to the end.
Ooh, the boop try there on a Bull, but instead he turns the Sheik into a dead Lucio. So no Reddit plays there for the Lucio on this team in UCLA. You have on the side Bull dodging a few of the stuns coming out. Now gets one of his own, and he takes out his counterpart in the McCree and Halcyon. They're going to be able to push this pretty far on this initial push.
Project Neptune looking quite alright at the moment. Payload moving on along, and we've mentioned this before where teams can get different results on different types of maps. Some teams feel more comfortable on control or on stationary objectives. Some people feel more comfortable on moving, and seems Project Neptune is more of the latter.
Ooh, big anti-nade coming through, though, onto all of those players, really on either side, but the Nano Boost is keeping it in front for UCLA, freezing up the May, who is on the point. They will get back control of this in the perfect spot.
That is a very wonderful spot to also have the payload start moving back, and you have this the Deadeye in the pocket along with the Shatter and soon to be Diva Bomb as well. The other side, basically the same tools, but that Nano Reinhardt can really prove to be an issue. If you can speed boost the Nano Reinhardt in, he can do so much damage, go shatter your backline, get all of the kills that he needs, and that is basically it.
Oh, but his Shatter doesn't get off. High Noon coming out from either side, which Deadeye is going to get more. Bull will go down, so it's going to be good for Halcyon. Actually, Bulls didn't go off. That's a weird bug now, I guess, that's coming through whenever you switch on to McCree. He does the same line twice, so my bad on that. Either way, this is another easy fight win for UCLA.
As a very nice fight win for UCLA, and now as well coming up, having the Blizzard at the ready. It's basically putting it in their hands as well. They've got all of the tools right there and ready, so it is primarily who's going to take the initiative that is going to get the proper advantage, and UCLA is looking like they want that.
Oh, Rogue almost going down there, but because she's asleep, they're able to get a big blizzard out. Catches both tanks. The Reinhardt is still frozen up on either side. Neither of them going down yet. Rogue without. Oh, but the double kill comes through for the self-destruct that came over afterwards.
It is a nice combo, seeing that opportunity to just use the blizzard when the D.Va was sleeping, as you mentioned, following it up with the bomb. Beautiful play. But now you've got not that much in the bank left. You've got Cal with the Shatter, but we've seen Grantissimo, these walls being devastating.
Oh, he's coming from above. Do they know he's there? Oh, he got booped up. He still is able to get it onto the Reinhardt, though. They still get two from that, and Sheik goes down, but that's okay because they still win the fight.
Very much win the fight. Project Neptune on their hind legs with 30 seconds to go. Only having the bomb, having the high noon, you need to get your rider in there as well to really create a lot of space to get something done. But with a nano from Popper, it's going to be a Goliath versus a Goliath, as these two riders will be bashing heads.
Use of the Deadeye, not going to get anything for Bull, but he does throw that flashbang onto the D.Va. Now looking for the Ana, is in behind, but can't get a shot to land on the Ana. Oh, nice movement from the Ana and Pupper to avoid all of those shots. Halcyon now able to get Rope down, and then Octane going down as well to Nifshik. This is going so well for UCLA. They are cleaning this up, throwing the Blizzard down to ensure that they win this fight. They have that full hold come through, not even to the first point for Project Neptune.
This is looking rough for Project Neptune. You didn't make it to the first checkpoint. UCLA came in just at the last minute to take that one back and to force them straight on back to spawn. UCLA have got all the time in the world to get that same progress, and with how they've been playing it so far, it seems like they also have just a slight hair ahead of like the understanding of how you can use the map, which they can then also use against Project Neptune again. Getting those nice walls off from Grantissimo was paramount in their victory here as well. Managing to get those singular picks off is where all this value from the Mei comes in, aside from the Blizzard. Getting those singular picks off, which gets you the advantage, which forces the enemy team to put in so many resources to even try and get the fight win in. That is so important here. And if you cannot deal with that Mei in an appropriate way or bait at the wall, you're gonna be on the back foot basically the whole game, which we saw happening here.
And even on top of all of that, Pupper on the high ground has a McCree and Bull right behind him, avoids every single shot, and never dies, even though he's not looking at Bull, who's shooting him from, trying to shoot him from behind. It was just like, oh no, oh no.
I mean, that is something that you really want to clip. That was some amazing movement to just dodged everything out of the way. It was almost, it was basically perfect, as we see once again the mirror composition coming on through the Project Neptune, going for the Baptiste, not having the Lucio in the fight.
You know what? It's a lot of healing that can come through from the Baptiste. You also have Immortality Field that you can use. That's already out, and Bull is not able to live through it. Goodbye to the D.Va as well. And now you have on the flank use of the flashbang. Goodbye to Dr. Fancy Pants on the Ana. We saw this sort of happen, though, for Project Neptune on their attack, too. It's about this next fight, about who's going to be able to win it, though, to see if they can win the map here for UCLA.
Project Neptune having already swapped off of the D.Va, going for the Hammer to try and contest. And that is who is going to be coming in first, but all of that CC is going to make it so difficult.
Yeah, you have the Mei walls used on either side. Seems like there's more players there for UCLA. They get their advantage. Deadeye through. This is with it. Does do some damage, though, onto some important targets. And UCLA going to coast to a quick win here and take a massive 2-0 lead.
UCLA looking clean already at a 2-0 lead. We're not even half an hour in.
Wow.
And they're already this far ahead and dominantly. They barely even got stopped at any point during their defense. The nice bomb here, picking up the 2. That was a lovely play. Project Neptune, they're gonna have to pull something together to really get it back here.
Yeah. That was pure domination from UCLA on that.
Oh,
That was
definitely.
wild.
It was so wild. It was almost just pinpoint accuracy in whatever they wanted to do. Like, this is the plan. This is what we're gonna do. We found a target. Everyone's on the same target. It was really exceptionally good. And Project Neptune just didn't seem to have that same coordination uh, uh, to be able to get something off. And you saw once again the power of that Maywall, even with the immortality field. The immortality field keeps you from dying. Yes, keeps you also at 20% health.
Right.
And if you cannot heal that health up and the immortality field goes down, you're still at 20% health, which doesn't require that much strength to burn that down to 0.
Their attack, I think, is the more like glaring thing for me for Project Neptune, where they win the first fight so handedly, just like UCLA did on their attack, but they just weren't able to keep it rolling. UCLA regroups. They don't make that desperation. I mean, it was kind of a desperation switch, it seemed like maybe too from Project Neptune, thinking they couldn't
Yeah.
get back. But I don't think they even needed to do it. But regardless of that, UCLA wins that second fight, and then the spawn advantage goes so heavily in their favor. There's nothing Project Neptune could do. It's wild how like you can win one fight so easily and then lose every fight after that by such a steep amount.
It seems primarily that UCLA just got caught off guard by the first fight
Mhm.
to a degree where they did indeed lose it. But keeping your cool in that moment and be like, okay, we lost the fight. Everyone die quickly. We group up. We can take another fight. We know where the payload is. We know how much time we've got. We can take another fight. We go back. We stay focused. We stay controlled. We saw them standing around the corner when they were getting ready, just waiting for the reinforcements to come in. It's like, we've got like 5 meters to go. Okay, now we go. They go in. They focus the right targets. They get that fight win in, and they get their bearings back. And at that point, Project Neptune, like, you also, like, it becomes a psychological thing. Like, you feel shaken. Like, you were so close from getting that payload to the checkpoint, and that gets denied. Like, that gets in your head. It starts nagging. And then you lose the next fight, and it starts nagging a bit more. And you start making, like, these tiny mistakes that you barely even notice, but will become a big thing. And
Like not waiting for your flashbang to come up when you're
exactly.
behind an Anna on the high ground and it's just you and the Anna, sort of like that.
Sort of like that, because that could have definitely turned it around. If you had that flashbang ready, flashbang the Ana, left click, right click, doesn't matter, kill the Ana. Now the main healer's gone. What are you going to do now? Now you're on the back foot. But you're starting to get into your own head, and you notice that a bit then from Project Neptune. And they have to break out of that for this next map, because if they can't, I see a dark future for Project Neptune for this series.
Well, we know that Temple of Anubis is a map where anything can happen. If you know the history of just Overwatch, this map just seems to just always be a weird one. Not that the map is weird, just weird things seem to happen here. So, and I guess that's just kind of Assault, right? Like Assault is that sort of a map. You I think it was Bull, you said Genji was who he had as his main, right? So this is also potentially an opportunity to see that Genji come out at some point. They will be attacking first for Project Neptune again, so UCLA is staying. They get to stay in their school colors here, basically. So they got to be happy about that.
That's going to be a nice feeling to have as well. Feeling like you're in the Overwatch League with your own team colors.
Ready
Um,
for battle.
And yeah, like you're mentioning, the Genji, maybe it gets pulled out, because that is the thing with these assault maps, especially the point A. You basically need one clean team fight. That's it.
Attackers
That's what you need. And then you get point A. If you get a good, nice, clean team fight, you've already got point A. The point B, that is where it becomes a bit more difficult, having that defender's advantage, especially the spawn advantage, getting the reinforcements to come in pretty rapidly can be huge to hold on to a point, to keep stalling out a point and burning down time from the clock. The defense is opting for a double shield variant, going for the Orisa Reinhardt, while on the offense, I'm seeing a Hanzo as opposed to a McCree, and I'm liking this. A lot of burst damage to be able to come out here.
Not quite the Genji that I was kind of hoping for, but it's one of the Shimada brothers, right? Ooh, but that anti-nade has Bull extremely close to going down. The nade of his own just keeps him alive barely through some damage.
There's a lot of damage coming on through. It is still poking, it is still just as eco pushes as both of these teams are pushing in. Grandissimo once again with a nice wall off. It's not going to provide that much at the moment, but this is now a lot of value that they're getting.
Yes, now there's a good wall to allow for their Reinhardt to pin in. They do lose Caldo, but they still have a main tank, so they're kind of alright. They can still put up a barrier between them and the rest of these players. They can block off the high charge Zarya, but they're losing so many.
Rogue with that high charge, as you mentioned, it is a Zarya that does so much and provides so much damage. Like, you cannot let that you cannot let the Zarya get a free reign on a point like that. Now that point A is gonna be grabbed. We're gonna be looking at what point B will be giving. Cal has got the Shatter basically ready. Itadakamas is off the Orisa. It's gonna be back on the Diva, which is going to be huge to deal with both this Dragon, or with the Dragon, the Blizzard, and the Graviton Surge. Graviton Surge Dragon is probably going to be one of the early combos to come in, but not before the Nano Ryan to just kind of boulder on through onto the point.
Looking for the chance to use that Dragon Strike, see if they wait for the Graviton Surge or not. Cal just swinging away, he has himself an Earth Shatter, so Jasper about to get to his as well, so we'll see who ends up coming up first with it. They're going to end up having Halcyon go down. He goes down to Octane as he was using his Deadeye. Good block of the Earth Shatter. Now Cal can swing through with the Nano Boost, gets slept there, but he's able to stay alive and keep swinging forward, and his team's going to win this fight.
Team is very much going to win this fight, and the constraint is very good. The charge at the end. The constraint is very good to not put in, like the Shatter. You still have it for the next fight, but Project Neptune, 4 shiny buttons at the ready, the Grav Dragon combo that is right there. But Cal wanting to go for the sneaky back Shatter, hiding around at the Mega Health Pack. I like it.
This? Are they gonna not spot him out? They're not looking. They still haven't looked. He's done something like this already before. Oh, they're looking the wrong. Oh, he just walks away. He just walks away, so he's not going to shatter. Got my hopes up for nothing, Cal. You know, I'm a little disappointed. And now he's blocked off by the Mei wall. Can they get onto him, though? Not able to is the only problem, but now they have to wait for some of those cooldowns to come back before they can engage in. But Nick goes down to Halcyon, so now you're without your Lucio, you're without your speed to engage on. Jasper does get Pupper, but everybody else is dead, so it doesn't even matter.
Which is such a key factor in these compositions. That speed boost that you mentioned is so incredibly important to be able to both get in, but also get out. The communication for that is a big thing to keep in mind. And now Project Neptune once again having so much at the ready, but they keep losing someone early on. It's once again this person being out of position or just getting dove on or getting picked out from the fight, but they keep losing one early and do not get a chance to put in any more resources for the fight.
They do have 3 more minutes, though, so they still have plenty of time. They do have a lot of ultimates up, but so does UCLA. It's probably going to be an ult fiesta in this fight. Look for the use of the Mei wall. Blocks off the Earth Shatter. The Mei, does she get it off? She didn't get it off her ultimate, but that's okay. The grab was there, but it doesn't do anything is the only problem. So they use one ultimate, don't get anything out of it, really, other than an Earth Shatter.
I mean, the play between Octane and Itadakamas was amazing to watch. You saw Octane wanting to put that Blizzard in, but Itadakamasa just inside the enemy team, just behind the enemy team, putting that defense matrix over the Mei, denying any sort of point presence for the Blizzard to come on through. Now Grandissimo has got the Blizzard of their own, so they've got even more counterplay for against Project Neptune. And now without the Graviton Surge, this Dragon is also not going to find the full value that they're probably looking for.
They don't have Sound Barrier, though. That was used too, and that's another ultimate that UCLA just doesn't have. But like you said, they have so much other than that. They're going to use that Blizzard to great effect. But you're going to get the other Blizzard eaten by Octane. Octane's Blizzard getting eaten by... Sorry. Octane's got eaten. You know what I mean. Either way, they have to run away again for Project Neptune.
They do have to run away again. As Itadakimasu, the Diva hero at this point. How many eats has that been so far?
Itadaki eats so many. It's ridiculous.
It's keeping track of this is damn near impossible. And those are those timings that you get. Like, it's another 30-40 seconds off the clock, and Octane is only 50% to the next Blizzard. It's gonna take so much time to build it up, and now you barely have any win conditions apart from Nano Ride.
Oh! Cal was caught. He uses the Shatter, and he's able to get it through, and he wins the fight. They should have lost that. He was blocked off. He was antied, but he throws the Shatter out and still gets his team a win.
Project Neptune just not respecting the enemy team. We've got him blocked off, we've got the kill, but no, you don't. He's got a Shatter, and now you're on the floor. Jazz has got a Shatter of his own, asleep onto Cal as he's jumping around. Itadakamasa still with the bomb, so that is a repellent from the point, but not a very big one. The Nano coming up soon, and we've seen how Cal can be a big chunk of damage coming into the front line, especially with that speed boost as well. Possibly being able to build up another Shatter in one fight. So very much one to watch out for, as Jasper has one of his own, but... Yeah.
Bull's dead. They gotta go in. They have to just go in now. They're going to get blocked off again by the Maywall. Self-destruct coming through, not going to find anything. Cal getting the nano boost, takes down Jasper, and now swings his way through another, just holding his shield up while his team follows up, and they are going to stop this team from getting anything on that second point in this team of Project Neptune. So now UCLA Esports, it's match point, win condition set, take 33% of the second point.
That is not a very high win condition. It's very easily attainable. Project Neptune is gonna have to pull out all of the stops to be able to hold this. Point A is one thing, and honestly, I'm predicting a fast point A take from UCLA. Point B is where Project Neptune can shine if they're not out of position.
If
you
they're
saw
not
again.
right.
Yeah, if you saw again Bull taken out just moments before going into that final fight, you're 5v6. What are you going to do? There's so little that you can still do, and that is so painful to see happen. You can't let that happen, and if you're playing on your defense, that cannot happen. As soon as that first person out of position gets taken out, it's basically map done.
And that's kind of the spot we're in right now. It's going to have to be a monumental hold. You don't have to have it as a first point hold, but you need a great first point hold if you're Project Neptune to have a chance.
It's possible if you don't have a great first point hold, but it's going to be nerve-wracking, and you're going to have to play point B flawlessly. If you do not, that one tick ticks up very fast, and Project Neptune already not going for the Lucio, keeping a Brigitte. Not sure what they're really expecting, but opting for that one, so no defensive ultimate really either, but a bit of extra offensive capabilities having that armor up.
Well, they're going to come around quickly to that other side. Flashbang comes out from Halcyon, not going to get anything. They're just pushing their way forward. Wall goes up, blocks players off. Nice counter Maywall, though, to allow for their players to come back and everybody stays together. So this is the first start is good, but the freeze comes on. but the players falling on the side of UCLA, even though they did get the D.Va frozen.
That is very much the case, so UCLA are gonna have to regroup and rethink their strategy. So no immediate first fight, first point take, so it is still in Project Neptune's hands to hold on to this.
Maywall already being set to and ready. Octane is just waiting for that opportunity to come in. They're going to go to the left side this time, so Octane still use the wall. Wasn't expecting that. Now they'll go to the high ground, and now this becomes very difficult for Project Neptune.
It becomes very difficult as a rotation through the high ground. Popper as well with the nano boost already ready, and we've seen what Cal can do with the nano boost used on him. Jasper coming close to the shatter, however, so that is a difficult one to hold on. This high ground is going to be super strong.
Popper going down, though. They lose a lot of healing as a result. Octane also able to get Cal down. Halcyon, though, from the high ground. Oh, he actually got boosted higher. Still doesn't work, though. A little bit of luck there because that Maywall could have been disastrous, but this is still working out for Project Neptune. Their first point hold is going pretty damn good.
It's going pretty damn good, but at the moment they're kind of staggering out as reinforcements from UCLA are coming in, and UCLA do have the blizzard of their own. Project Neptune is just ever so slightly more, so if they can take the well, okay. Or Cal just shattered.
Wow. That's one way to win a fight even when you're short-handed, that's for sure. And now UCLA in control of the point.
The same thing as before, he turns around as though he wants to just leave the point and just 180 shatters, catching everyone off guard. It's the play that gets the point. Hey, that's you. That though being said, going into this next fight, Brantissimo still having that Blizzard ready. Rogue is going to have to eat that because that is going to be one major win condition for this next fight. The Sand Barrier is available as well, while on Project Neptune's side, you don't really have a defensive ult to really deal with the Blizzard that's going to be coming in from Brantissimo. The bomb on top of that can be devastating, so Octane might put in the Blizzard of their own. We'll see how this happens.
Oh, the self-destruct gets one thanks to the May wall, but the self-destruct going the other way gets Halcyon ruled down here. A lot of players frozen on either side, but more players on the point for UCLA. Nano Boost coming out as well. They've got to deal with this Nano Boost in May on the side of Project Neptune. Is just trying to stall for as long as possible for players to come back. The Reinhardt coming back in. Itadaki just trying to get onto this May and take them down, but gets frozen up instead. But UCLA slowly but surely gaining numbers advantage on this point.
Kills are coming in very decisively as the stagger picks are getting switched up on. Bull as well with the High Noon's gonna have to come back from spawn, but it seems like his team is already doing the cleanup here and not much to do anymore.
They can't even get on the point, and it's a 3-0 win for UCLA. What a start for them here of this good run of theirs, beating Project Neptune 3-0.
That was very convincing for their victory. UCLA just getting a dominant showing here on all three of these maps. Very coordinated, very together. Project Neptune played very well, but just those singular picks off that could really have made the difference here. So fortunate for Project Neptune, but yes, with 3-0, UCLA grab a wonderful victory.
It was a really good victory for them. Project Neptune, unfortunate way that this goes for them in this first matchup. They looked so, it seemed like it was going to be a close one, right? When we looked at control, because it was kind of back and forth and it ends up going to the third point. But UCLA from there on just dominated. I mean, for Project Neptune, though, it's not like there's a lack of talent on their team.
Oh no, absolutely not. Like they played very well. It was just those tiny mistakes that cost them this series. As UCLA picked that off, is almost like surgery. It was so precise. Like someone is out of position. It seemed to be called out immediately, acted upon, and it's so huge. It was really well played from UCLA. So props to them.
There's a whole team too. A lot of players popping off at different moments.
Mhm.
Cal on the Reinhardt, I thought was super impressive. His Reinhardt was awesome.
Shatters. Shatters was so huge. was wonderful to see those coming in. But Itadakimasu as well with the eats on
Yeah.
everything basically. It was a sight. It was a really good sight.
It'll be fun to watch them as they continue to progress through here for GitGud. But that's going to do it here for us tonight. I mean, what a wild day we had. We had one game go to 6 maps, and then we have a 3-0 here. It's been a ton of fun, though, for us here. Uh, for, I mean, Belly, this first day that we had, I don't think you can get a much better day out of it.
Oh no, this was a wonderful first day. For both EU and NA, I might add. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward how the rest of this season is going to go, and either from a caster's perspective or a viewer's perspective, like it's gonna be some enjoyable Overwatch to witness.
Yes, and this is only the start. There's going to be more. So, of course, be sure to tune in every week. Thanks to everybody who makes this possible, though. Univeth, who's been our producer for this one. And then I believe for the person actually doing the production during was User Air. So, thanks to User Air, who was the one controlling cameras while you were watching. So, thanks to User Air and everybody else behind the scenes. There's too many to name them all because we're out of time. This was a fun first night, though, of Get Good. We'll see you next week. It's going to be a fun one again then. So be sure to come back and we'll see you then.
So you queue up for Overwatch Ranked, only to be greeted by this, which then leads to this, and oh no, Reinhardt, what are you doing? The solution? Elo Hell pickup games.
Hey, you know what? Just fucking do it.
Oh my god, it's huge! Oh no! Kill! Let's go!
Open to players of all ranks and most platforms, Pugs give you the chance to experience competitive Overwatch as it was meant to be played. Competitively.
I need help.
I'm with you.
Shoot.
No way, dude.
Go. Let's go. Nice. Good call.
Players set their icons to indicate the role they want to play, then 2 captains pick their teammates and draft the most competitive teams they can. You can also take part in our pioneering learning event, Coached Pugs. To take part, join the Elo Hell Pickup Games Discord, and be sure to read the Pug Guide and FAQ. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you in-game.